Well, 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 well. Well, welcome. Welcome to the Newbcast podcast for the 5th of May. I'll make it through this.
Let's start the show like this. Nothing weird happened before, right as the countdown was beginning. Nothing strange happened. This is totally normal. Everyone is normal here.
Did you notice we're all wearing blue in some form?
Well,
that is something I mean, she's actually wearing purple.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, she's actually above me on okay.
Yep, I'm above you on the stream. Guys, welcome to the Newbcast podcast for the 5th of May. We are joined by our special guest this week, Flyinbolt, while we talk about gaming news and other related topics, including rebranding, right?
Yeah. Apparently I'm rebranding. You didn't know? How did you know?
Hippo-nanimous.
This is Newbcast worthy information that I'm breaking to everyone here. I am currently going to be rebranding to Hippo-nanimous. Hippo-nanimous.
Can we get Haiku-nanimous next?
I mean, maybe.
That would be a very interesting stream. Streaming haikus only.
If you don't know what's going on, Michelle tried to tag me in the tweet, the going live the going live tweet. Words are hard.
They are hard.
But she tagged me at Hippo-nanimous. 1 P, 2 O's.
In my defense, TweetDeck didn't want to do any of the autofills, so I'm just like, all right, let's go. And yeah, it didn't work out so well.
I mean, you found my secret. You found my secret.
Oh my god, guys. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary here. Yeah, so with that said,
this is totally normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gosh. Everyone, welcome to the Newbcast podcast. Sometimes we'll eventually get to where we're talking about. Again, this week's our guest is Flyinbolt. Flyinbolt, welcome back to the show. Glad to have you here.
Good to be back.
Yeah.
It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, it has. Believe it or not, it's been 2 months already. And yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Has it really been?
It doesn't feel like it.
It's been
Was
2
I
months.
on that show?
Yeah.
I don't even know. What? Really?
Funny how time flies, right?
Man.
I keep it. But yeah, it's been 2 months.
It was like it was 3 weeks ago. It was 3 weeks ago.
Kind of feels like
we do it every 2 weeks, but it was 3 weeks ago.
It kind of feels that way, doesn't it? But yeah, no, it's been that. So
it's been a crazy ride.
Right? Have you played anything interesting on that crazy ride?
Well, it's been a lot of Elite Dangerous, which you know.
Yeah.
We've been doing some Division 2. That's been a lot of fun getting some people involved with that, and also some of the Forest, which is a relatively older game, I guess you would say, but it's aged quite decently, I would say. It still looks great,
fun.
Still plays great.
I definitely recommend it if you like semi-spoopy games.
Yeah, it's spooky for the first couple days, and then it settles down a little bit.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, and then you just randomly at night, that is when you get jump scared.
Yeah, you get something running at you, and it's like, boo! Let's see. And then we've been playing Eco. We started that at the end of April, and we're going through the end of May. So that's kind of the lineup right now for me.
Okay, very cool.
So I have Eco, but I've never really played it more than like, my friend is over on that side of the world. I should run there. Starts running, gets lost, closes client.
Rip. You should try it out sometime. I'll get you in the channel and get you the info.
Oh, there you go.
And what's Eco all about? Because when you first said that, I was like, are you mispronouncing Echo? Like you're hanging out with the dolphin?
No
The alien dolphin.
The alien
dolphins. So
he's not alien.
Eco is like a sandbox. It's Minecraft, but it's with ecological puzzle to solve. You have to destroy an asteroid, meteor, whatever you want to call it, within an X number of days, which by default is about 30. So it's kind of the perfect month-long community game because you get a few people or a bunch of people involved, and you can have a woodworker, stonemason, road person, engineer. There are different jobs, if you will, as part of it. That you all work together to create a community, to build a city, home, whatever, and destroy the asteroid. Otherwise, it crashes in and destroys the world. But the goal is not to ruin the world in the meantime.
Okay.
So you can like pollute and stuff, right?
Yep. Yeah, you can pollute, you can grow farms, you can cut grass, you can fill up the ocean with smelting pollution, stuff like that.
So real life simulator, got it. Okay.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. You know, without the implications in real life, except you are running a computer to play the simulation, so you know.
Yeah, right. Take that for what you will.
Yeah.
Right on.
Very true.
I suppose this is all part of so the other thing to point out, and part of the reason I definitely wanted Bolts back for this particular episode, is if you look around, all four people on this screen right now, we're actually all part of a team for the month of May for St. Jude Play Live. We're all members of the Noob crew. So Bolts, I'm assuming that some of this is going along with your campaign as well.
Yes. So the eco game, I kind of planned it out for the month of May in general, and then the St. Jude's piece fell into place, and it's like, this is kind of perfect. It's friendly for kids. It's fun to watch. I can involve community members without making it awkward, I guess might be a way of putting it. But
That's not fun.
it's a lot of fun to watch and do.
Okay. Very cool.
So that was kind of my hope for the St. Jude's event, and Play Live and the game fit together. So
yeah, very cool. So yeah, that's what's going on there. And that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And I'm also really happy to say that we're I can't believe we're all going to have badges of honor here too, which is really cool. So yay to that. Cool. Anything else you've been playing, or is that everything? Or
I think that's pretty much the list for the moment.
Cool.
We'll see what happens in June.
Fair enough. Well then, guess we'll go around. Hippo, or Hippo.
I believe it's pronounced
Hippo.
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 Uh-huh. Hippo.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How's it going?
It's good. It's good now that I rebranded. Great now that I rebranded.
You realize there's going to be a point in the next week or so where there's going to be a bit drop in your channel, and the text of voice will, pronounce the name properly now.
Hippoonanimous, yes. I mean, the text of voice actually is really funny because it generally says it correctly, whereas most people cannot say it.
Wow.
Most of the time it's hip hop anonymous, or in a few, like, what was it, like a month ago, it was hippoponanimous. That was a good one too.
I was actually I was joking with, who was I joking to? Was it Bolts? Where I was talking about even for the overlay tonight, I was going to put Hippo Nanny Mouse just to see if you noticed or not.
Well, you might as well put it hippoonanimous because you broke my news without me even announcing it. So
we've got an ongoing running joke, guys. You just wait. That Hippo is going to come right back. Gosh, Hippo, what's been going on? What have you been playing? What's going on in the Hippo world?
We've really just been playing RimWorld.
Okay.
We played Forager, which is a fantastic game. Highly suggested if you like. I guess it's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like it has the graphics of Fez, but the mechanics of like Minecraft without building. That makes sense. It's great. Just go look it up. If you don't know what I'm talking about for whatever reason, go buy Forager. It's fantastic.
So can I just be honest with you? I saw your tweet about a community member passing away. I saw the rip. Was it? Who was it? It was someone for your community, and I'm like, wait, what? That seems rather shallow the way you said that. And then it occurred to me, oh, that was a RimWorld version of the.
Oh yeah. I was like, where are you going with this?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
This
Took
is so
me a
Yeah,
dark.
we were playing. So if you don't know what RimWorld is, it's a disaster management game where you build a base and try to just live. You either crash land or you start as a caveman on an alien world, and you try to start with a small group of people, like 3 colonists, and you try to grow
Okay.
and survive. And we named the colonists after our community members. And it even has Twitch integration too. So if you're a streamer and you like RimWorld, go check that mod out. Um, yeah. So there was a marriage between 2 colonists.
Uh-huh.
They decided to get married in the storeroom. I don't know why, but they were like, the best place to do
Classy.
this would literally be where there's no. By the way, the storeroom just had stuff all over the floor. Like, this is where they decided to get married.
Uh-huh.
And during this marriage, a toxic fallout blanketed the region. So if you went outside, you got irradiated.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened. And then another community member, colonist, he was a very old person, and he had a heart attack due to the stress that was coming from the toxic fallout and being a shut-in. He liked outside. He couldn't go outside. He was stressed and mad. Eventually, he happens to be in chat right now. I can see him. And he had a heart attack and died, unfortunately. And then we were attacked by so the game throws out random encounters for the way that we're playing it. We're playing with Randy Random, which is an AI storyteller that gives you just random events. It may or may not be fair, depending on where you are in your technology or your base and such like that.
Sure.
But there was a large part of a spacecraft that landed near our base, and it had a psychic drone that was making all the men crazy, and not in the good kind of way. So, the usual. And anyway, we had to go destroy it, and as we were going to destroy it, half the colonists caught the plague. They caught the plague. So they're like puking and getting ready to shoot this thing, right? They're like, oh, we don't know what's in it. So it's a giant spacecraft, and you shoot it open, and horrible alien mechanoids come out, and it could be not that big of a deal, or it could be a really bad thing. For us, it was not that big of a deal. However, they had the plague already.
So it
by the
a
time
cold,
they got into
or was it a plague?
No, it was a plague,
okay.
like a literal plague. So if they die from it if you don't give them the proper medical treatment. Unfortunately for us, 3 people died from the plague afterwards, and the best part was, as we got back up into the base, we got raided again by like a pretty decent sized force with a lot of weapons and stuff like this. And I only had like 3 people. I apologize if you could hear people outside. There's like a whole party going on of children. So if you hear like laughter and stuff.
Okay, yes.
How dare those kids have fun? Anyway.
It's totally normal for Hippo's house.
Absolutely.
Old man yells at a cloud. Anyway, we fight off this a rhino had self-tamed. So we had a rhino. And we had 2 people or 3 people and a rhino to fend off like this crazy raid with like a lot of weapons and stuff. And this rhino was a beast. It was a tank. It took so many shots from shotguns and sniper rifles, and like it was literally stabbed and clubbed multiple times, and it survived, and it got us through the raid. And unfortunately though, we lost 3 community members due to the plague. So everything was fine, but the plague killed them because they had to get up. They couldn't stay in bed. They had to go fight that spaceship. So I was really sad because you get attached to your community members. You get attached to your colonists because they're really good at certain things. Each colonist has like their own quirks, their own stats, and 3 of our best colonists died to the plague, unfortunately.
I see. I died in that then. Oh, that's a shame.
You are not on. You have the luck of not being on this planet
Oh, I see.
so far. You can join though. You definitely can join the. We need more people. We definitely need more people because.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We lost 3 really good members. So you can be whoever joins you.
All right.
This is where you cue the Starship Troopers slogan or whatever.
Yeah, right.
I'm doing my part. Gets eaten by a bug.
Yeah.
I really wish I had the sound effects set up for that because that would be fantastic if I did. So RimWorld, is there anything else that you played, or is that does that pretty much sum it up?
I played RimWorld, we played Forager, and I think we played like one other thing, but I can't even remember what it was. We've been really just going on RimWorld. I've been so addicted, you guys. I know that like half of my community is like, I don't even like RimWorld, and I'm like, I don't care, we're playing RimWorld. That's how addicted I am. We played probably about 40 hours this week of RimWorld.
Oh wow.
And then we played Forager, and that's pretty much all I've been playing, you guys.
Okay.
I've just been streaming that game. It's fantastic. If you like really difficult games, but like the graphics, I was talking with a friend of mine, and she's like, I want a game that's really beautiful and pretty, and I'm like, that's not RimWorld. It doesn't matter the graphics. The graphics are there, so it's not like what is that game that's coming to
Dwarf
Steam?
Fortress.
Dwarf Fortress, right? So it doesn't look like Dwarf Fortress, which, by the way, is a great game too. It's just it's not the prettiest game. But
They're supposed to be making it pretty nice, though.
Awesome! I can't wait. I like Dwarf Fortress. So there's been like, if you guys, this is a very niche thing. There's like a fight right now between RimWorld people and Dwarf Fortress people, and they're like, "Brr," and I'm like, I like both. I like both.
look, there's so many games that have communities where they're like, wow, but this game and this game, like
Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen.
Yes, I was actually going to say that too.
Yep.
That's the exact same thing there. So that happens so many different places. I'm not surprised to hear it.
Yeah. So my friend was like, I really want to play this game, but it's so ugly. And I'm like, look, it doesn't matter what the graphics look like. Once you start to understand what you're doing, it's so immersive that you don't even care. Like, you just don't care.
You also get some good people helping you out in chat.
Yeah, if you stream it.
Yeah.
Some people, bolts may be backseaty, but
Hey, it's not backseating if you ask for it.
that's I almost.
Someone quote
you know what?
that?
Never mind. Yeah, I'm not.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah. Hi everyone. Anyway, we've just been playing RimWorld. It's fantastic. It's one of my most favorite games. I started playing it about a year ago. In January 2017. I hated it. I was in a completely different mindset. I thought this game was bad. I didn't understand why everyone loved it. I kept dying. I was in like a completely different mentality of like, why do I hate this game? And now I revisited it, and it's now my most favorite game. I'm not playing anything else off stream. I'll stream this game for like 7, 8, 12 hours, and then I'll end the stream and continue playing. That's how much I love this game.
You know what we need to get him addicted to next, right? Prison Architect.
I already played that.
Ooh.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. Another game that should be streamed more, in my opinion.
I agree.
Well, yeah, that was, so you mentioned Forager. It seems like a lot of people are playing that right now. I got offered up the key. I'm like, I don't know if I would play that. Everyone else is playing. I'm like, shit, I should have joined you.
You should still do it. It's definitely, you can pick it up if you're a broadcaster for free. Just
through this one site.
Go to the site or just email them. Like the guy, it started with one man and his dream to make a game that was really fun and entertaining, and he did, but it was failing and it wasn't really working, and he showed this game to one of his friends, and his friend was actually pitching something to Humble Bundle, and he was actually late to that meeting because he was playing Forager, and he apologized, and instead of pitching his own game, he pitched Forager, and Humble was like, we want it.
Oh.
And therefore
Nice.
it happened. I believe he's a Japanese man who didn't even really speak very much English, and then because his friend pitched it and Humble was like, yes, he was like, yes, of course, I want to sell this to you guys. Unfortunately, his father had passed away while he was trying to make Forager happen, so it he tells his story. If you guys play the game, there's like extras, and I highly suggest looking at the extras while you play through it. The more things you unlock, the more story of like the behind the scenes of Forager you get. It's very good, and it's a little heart-wrenching, but in a wholesome, good kind of way, you know.
Okay.
It's like, my father was sick, he died while I was trying to do this, and now you all wonderful people are playing my game, and it wasn't for it was for a reason we struggled, so thank you. And you can tell he's just very humble and very happy that people are playing his game. So I really suggest you guys go pick the game up, go play it, go have fun with it.
Okay, cool. There we go. And a game pitch and endorsement. Awesome. Well, Hippo, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Going up to Dizzy G, welcome. How's it going?
Oh, hey, doing all right. I still feel like I'm in a little bit of recovery.
I was wondering about
from,
that.
I know that feel.
I was a little curious about that.
So for anybody who has ever done like an all-nighter, and inevitably there's going to be a situation, you have an exam that you totally didn't study for, and you decide to do it at the last second, or things like that. You know the feeling. When you add in being broadcasted and having anybody stop on by at any moment to see how you're doing, like 10 times more craziness.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, especially for St. Jude, do marathon streams. I ended up picking up Final Fantasy VII and giving that a run through. It's the first time I played it this year. I think the last time I played it was
this year. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you got that too.
I mean, it's a classic, right? We'll be talking a little bit about classics and how they're decided for, Hall of Fames and stuff like that later. But Final Fantasy VII is definitely in that list for me as just being a very iconic game. And I've never really played a game specifically to try to fit a time frame. So doing so in 24 hours was really, really fascinating. We ended up actually having a little bit of extra time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what do we do with this at this point?
So
I was not aware that you did a 24-hour. I thought you were doing like a long stream, but I didn't know you were doing 24 hours.
Yep. See, because we went to
never do it again, man. Never do it again.
We went to his stream Wednesday after I wrapped up. It was shortly after he had started, and I remember I was working on something here, and I was just watching. I'm like, he's got like an hour to go. What the hell is he doing? Why is he doing this with an hour? Shouldn't he try to go beat the game? And then it kind of occurred to me, I'm like, he had to have beaten it already. That's the only reason he would be doing what he's doing. And
well done. Congratulations on the 24 hours.
Yeah.
I did not know that you were doing it. I thought you were doing a super long stream. I did not know it was a 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
I mean, you are accurate in saying it was super long, so there you go.
Yeah.
Definitely worth going to again, and it makes me realize that no matter what's going to happen with Final Fantasy VII Remake, there's going to be a part of my heart that is so disappointed that it exists. And I feel awful. Because there's also going to be another generation of people who will love the Final Fantasy VII Remake and will never let it go, hopefully. But it won't be me. Whatever happens, no matter how outrageously amazing it is, I can't. I won't be able to.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we going to ask him what happens after this remake?
Sure.
Hmm?
Let's. There you go.
Aren't they doing it like episodically?
They are. Yeah, I think
And
they're
then people are,
planning
like, really
on.
mad.
They're planning on 3 sections for it to match the 3 discs of the original release. Yeah, I learned the other day, and by the way, you will also, like, going out and streaming classic games, find out random facts that you never ever knew about those games. And I thought I knew Final Fantasy VII really well, but apparently there was an edition of the game that had 4 discs.
Wait,
And
what?
the fourth disc, yeah, the fourth disc, it was, the game itself was still 3 discs, but the fourth disc was, I think, a soundtrack and a guide and one other thing. It was like a post-release a couple of years after in Japan, I think.
Oh,
But all of these other random things come out of the woodwork. So that was a blast. I had way too much ketchup. Thank you. You're all awful.
you know, it's funny. I almost for the show, for just this show that we do every other week, I want to have a ketchup command. It just goes back to that clip where you talk about how much you love ketchup, on especially on the American hot dog.
I don't think I was there for that one.
I don't
remember
Just
this.
say that if you have BTTV installed, you get to enjoy that emote that I just put in chat. Feels hot dog, man.
Also, you know I don't. You know I literally don't, because we were talking about it earlier. I am the one person on Twitch that still uses the original.
What's wrong with
who
you?
does that?
You are
The
missing
Final
out
Fantasy
on so
VII
much.
purist.
Dude, you are missing out on so much Twitch culture by not having BTTV
Yeah.
installed. And what are you doing?
Yes, you are.
Your life revolves around Twitch and you don't have it installed. What are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
I'm also
I-
noticing that there's not a ketchup BTTV emote.
Not globally, but I'm sure that you could find one.
Yeah, right.
We need to find one.
I'm
Oh,
sure it
no.
could.
No. No. I guess I will acquiesce to the demands. I don't like modding, guys. I don't like modding.
It's not really. I mean, I guess it's a mod,
It's an
but it's like it
extension.
works so well with Twitch that you don't even know it's there. You just see emotes and you're like, oh yeah. Now I understand. Feels hot dog, man. I get it. You're gonna be like, what is that? Pepe the hot dog man?
Yeah, right.
So wait, all this time that I've been putting in Genie Salt, I was supposed to get an icon?
Yes. Yes, you were. That's how it works.
Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now, Disa-G?
I don't know. I don't know. But yes, other than Final Fantasy VII, I've played a few different things.
Whoa. Before we continue,
Wait.
how long have you been on Twitch? I just want to know, how long have you been on Twitch?
I've been here a couple of days. This is actually my first stream.
Oh,
No, you can't use my words, sir. How long have you been on Twitch? How many years? I've known you for over a year.
I legit have known about Genie Salt and BTTV for a while.
Okay, all right.
I promise you.
Jeez, man. Don't scare me
Although-
like that.
watching the stare come out of your eyes, like, how on earth? That was well worth it. Well worth
Look,
it.
I'm not gonna lie. There are people, specifically in chat right now, who I brought BTTV to them, and they were like, "Oh, it's emotes." Yes, it's emotes. Oh my god, Bolts.
No.
it's how all of us fancy streamers that don't have the check marks still have emotes for our channel. Yeah, that's the secret.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. No, that's.
I mean,
that
there's
is
also
true.
GIF emotes too,
Yep.
which is fantastic. I
Mhm.
love the GIF emotes. They're the reason why I love BTTV as much as I do.
You know, to the point where it lags out your stream while you're going. You know.
Oh my god. So we did, like, just to like totally throw this derail this podcast. I did a 12-hour stream on Friday, and I played Brain Power, which, if you know what Brain Power is, that song, just Google Brain Power. You'll
By
find
Freeze
it.
Pop?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I don't even know who it's by.
Yes.
It's amazing. Chat, Twitch culture dictates that if you hear Brain Power, you must spam the copy pasta, as much as you can as fast as you can. People were literally trying to get globaled in my channel at like, I don't know, it must have been like 1 a.m. my time, or maybe a little earlier, but yes, that copy
Oh, that
pasta
one.
right
Yes,
there,
yes.
thank you. That copy pasta. So if you, it was just so crazy. Like it actually made my game lag. That we were playing a game and it made my game lag. The chat spamming, and it actually broke people's browsers. They had to like refresh or
I had to refresh
their browser.
Yeah, I had to refresh my IRC when that happened.
It broke my bot. After the stream, I didn't realize this. I went back to my bot after I closed everything down, and the chat was actually frozen. Where everyone was spamming. It was so good, you guys. It was so funny.
Oh my gosh.
We had a lot of fun.
Twitch culture, I tell you, God.
It's just the best. Copy pasta is the best.
So, yeah. Anyway,
let's
Dizza?
bring the podcast back on
right.
the rails.
Dizza,
my bad, you guys.
what else have you been playing? Final Fantasy VII in a 24-hour stream. What else have you been playing?
Let's see. I got to hang out with my sister. We did a sibling stream of Mario Party. That was a blast. I haven't taken time proper to enjoy Super Mario Party. It's worth going back and playing it. And I haven't thought that for a Mario Party game for a long time.
So I just had to put this out there. You got Mario Party. What about a Mario Kart?
I have Mario Kart. Let's play.
Okay.
I have it on my SNES Classic. You'll have to stop by, but
You got to get a Switch, dude. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I don't have a Nintendo
It's
device.
2019.
What?
Come on. What are you doing?
I have like a Game Boy DS or something.
A Game Boy DS.
3DS.
It's
Bolt, did you just dad right now?
Wait, what?
Elgato capture Nintendo card thing, you know? The Elgato?
Oh my God.
Wait, what? I'm so confused.
And that one went clearly over everyone's head.
Which is a surprise since normally
I'm sorry,
I get hit
did
by
I
those.
just dad splain to you or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
my bad.
So yeah, no, it was a Mario Party with your with Moogle mode, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was indeed.
Didn't you also enjoy a lot of Bean Boozled beans at night? I felt like you got a lot of beans at night.
Yeah, I definitely did, and it is the best feeling on earth to rope a sibling into being boozled. Moogle Mode will never be on a sibling stream again with me, I am pretty sure. Because she was so disgusted by some of the beans. And you know what? Kudos to her for going in and trying it, because she had never done it before, but it was...
Do you have the stink bug
was the
one? Is that the 4th or the 5th edition?
I've got 4th edition.
I have 5th edition, so I think mine is...
Oh my god.
Dirty Dishwasher.
Yes. 5th edition is by far way worse than 4th because of the stink bug, the dirty dishwater. I think those are the only different beans, but the stink bug actually made me almost vomit on stream.
Yep.
And that's saying something, because I used to eat jars of these peanut butter.
They were actually peanuts earlier. The conspiracy is found.
Dun, dun,
Jars
dun.
of the jelly beans, not peanut butter.
You know,
Next thingy.
I'm really with the amount of times that we had to mention that words are hard. Like, should I just have the bot just remind people that's what happens? And
Just
Can we
on,
just
like,
put
on
it
a
in the center of the
5-minute
screen?
interval,
Yeah.
5 minutes. Hey, words are hard. Hey, words are hard.
Do you
right.
think 5 minutes is... I feel like we need a shorter period of time.
Possibly.
Well,
Because once again, words are hard.
the problem with these is that I also have a meme about peanut butter, so I got my memes crossed. So I was gonna say jelly beans, but I said peanut butter because that's also a meme. So.
Don't cross the meme streams.
Don't
Yes.
cross the meme streams. Oh lordy. All right, Mario Party. Final Fantasy VII. Anything else?
I retain my frustration with Origin, and I've wanted to play Mass Effect like 3 times more than I've actually played.
Yeah.
Really? What's going on with Origin?
The client decides after 1 or 2 playthroughs that it's just never going to log me in. It knows when I put in a bad password.
Oh, sure.
But when I put in the correct password, by the way, here's the secret password, guys. It thinks about it for a second and says, no, we're actually offline. We don't want to give you your game.
Weird. So for me, you guys know that I stream The Sims 4 a lot.
Really?
And I have not had any issue logging in with Origin. That's weird that you guys, like, people are still having issues with it.
Yeah.
It's 2019. You'd think they'd get that fixed.
You know, it's funny because I don't have any Origin problems either, and I'm not playing Sims 4 all the time.
I will by far, I will let everyone know I'm having issues with Origin because I'm not a huge fan of Origin, but I haven't had any issues with it. So that, I mean, I have other issues with other games, but not like the launcher itself or anything like that.
Yeah, I would love to have issues with games. Like, even like it'd be good to have problems with games right now. That would be fantastic.
That's weird that you have that. Have you contacted support or anything, just out of curiosity?
I have attempted, and there may be a couple of things going on. They may think that I am trying to hack my own account right now. Not sure.
Oh, good. That's great. Is because you failed to log in so many times or something?
Probably.
Oh dear.
That happened with my Epic account. Actually, Epic's account was, so you know how, like, if you have 2-factor authentication, you have to get the email. Instead of the email going to my inbox, it was just going directly to the trash can. So I was like, why can I can't log into Epic. That's the last. And yeah, that and Elder Scrolls. Is Elder Scrolls on it's on its own client, the Bethesda client or whatever, right?
Is
something
Elder Scrolls? You should just be able to play that on Steam.
Yeah, it opens a thing though. Anyway,
I
couldn't log into that, so my account is just dead.
It could be a Bethesda related thing that it does on the side, but
yeah.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully you get your Mass Effect thing sorted out. It'd be interesting to watch you play more of that and work your way through it.
I want to actually see you play. You're still in the first one, right?
Yep.
Yes, that is correct.
I mean, the first one has like hundreds of hours, I swear, if you want to do everything.
Oh my gosh. There are so many planets that you could literally just sit for, be like, I'm going to comb this, see if I can find something else to go. Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness. There's some type of comment about that and you putting over 150 hours into a game, and it's like
well, he can't though.
He can't, right? He can't log into it, right?
So, you know, what probably happened was Origin discovered that when I play games, I play the game in its entirety, and wanted to save me from that fate. So they sent an agent to lock my account up and make me look like I am hacking into my own. This all makes so much sense now. It really does.
Can we get some of the Illuminati in chat, you guys?
So is it Agent G?
Agent G.
Agent G. Yeah. Awesome. Is that everything then, Dizza? Did we cover everything? I think.
I do believe so.
Gotcha.
I do.
Okay.
How have you been? Ish?
You know.
What are you playing?
Games. No. Right. No, of course, Elite Dangerous, as Hippo's accurately pointed it out a few times, has been kind of my main lately. I've only hit close to 400 hours recently.
So wait a second. What's the judgment here? Why are you all judging me for 150 hours when there's 400 sitting right there?
Because it's an MMO.
We don't want to talk about how many hours I have in Elite Dangerous, okay?
Right.
It's
hold on.
Unhealthy amount.
Hold on. There's a different standard to the amount of hours that goes into an MMO versus the amount of hours that go into a single adventure game.
Agreed, but yeah, it's still the amount of hours I have in Elite Dangerous is
Pretty impressive.
I don't know how I did it. To be honest, I didn't even know until they added the stats in the panel on the right, and I was like, huh, I wonder how long I played this. Oh my god, I've sunk way too many hours into this game.
That's kind of like World of Warcraft. After you play for several years and you're like, I wonder how. Nope, I don't want to know.
Yeah, don't ever. Yeah, if you play World of Warcraft for a long time, don't ever /played. Don't ever do that. You will regret it. You're like, what did I do with my life? Crap.
Yep, that's about the time where I decided that WoW was done.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've tried logging in a couple times and I get half an hour and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Log out. Yeah, no, it's been a lot of Elite Dangerous that I've been playing, of course. On Friday night, we actually just switched it up a little bit, and I went over, and I've been doing a little bit of this off stream too, is Mech Warrior Online, which
I saw that.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Have you been
Is that a
looking at
stream game?
BattleTech?
huh? You both were talking. I heard something and something.
I just didn't know people still stream that
Yep.
game.
Yeah, no, we had about just as many people as we do right now that were hanging out doing that. Of course, so here's the thing about it, and I haven't sent them out yet, so I can show it off. Is so in the Twin Cities area, we have this arcade called Fallout Shelter Arcade, and they have these things called Tesla 2 pods, right? So it's a simulation cockpit you sit into. You have a screen in front of you. You have a map screen in front of you, like directly below it. You have a target display. You have weapon loadout. You have all the different like modes that you can switch your mech into. You have controls above you. Like there's so many different screens and panels and whatnot, right? Full simulation as far as how that's supposed to work. Well, I was talking to the owners of this business, and I was talking about possibly doing Mech Warrior Online as part of the giveaway, or part of the charity stream, and they gave me these. These are not third party. These are actual legitimate patches for the franchise. So you got BattleTech, you've got Thor, Loki, and Mad Cat, which we raffled all 4 of these off. I just had to send them. Which was donated by this arcade. Cool. Yeah. So these are authentic patches to the game's universe that 4 fortunate people were able to win. And you know, I was really impressed with the Mech Warrior Online community too. Like I had 2 guys that came in that were hanging out for a bit. They're like, hey, I tell you what, if we can get to this dollar amount, because this was for St. Jude, I'll throw in this item too. And we gave away a mech pack, and we gave away a mech bay. It was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at anything about BattleTech or anything like that?
I really want to play the new BattleTech. I
played it a little bit. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
You should do it.
In fact, I think one of the people that won one of those patches is actually in chat right now. He just called out the patch he won. Yep, he did. Anyway, I want to play that, but like I was saying on Friday night, a lot of the BattleTech I played is BattleTech Firestorm. So it's the game from the Tesla 2 pods. Though the graphics aren't like the sharpest, like most detailed graphics, because you're sitting in a cockpit with so many screens and that immersion factor, it really doesn't matter. Dizza knows what I'm talking about, because Diz has done this BattleTech before, and I know there's a couple people in chat right now that have as well, and can agree with this. Like, it's a really cool experience.
Oh, absolutely. I think the technical capabilities of the machine kind of speak to how you would expect it to be actually being inside one of these. Like, it's not, you know, camera realism detail, it's concept, like being in a sub almost.
Yeah.
And getting as much as you can from the sensors. I think it's super cool. And especially because there are so many different monitors and things to look at, you can get overwhelmed very quickly. The time that I played, I was super overwhelmed very quickly, and I imagine I will for the next 47 times that I do it. But that's part of what makes it so cool.
Yeah, well, and see, like, I've got over 100 missions in those pods now, so they consider me an advanced pilot, and like I've even controlled the the launch module for missions and whatnot, and I've gotten to know the owners pretty well. There might be another event for St. Jude coming up this month with them. I don't want to say anything because we have to work out details, but there might be something else. So you guys might actually see what BattleTech looks like, BattleTech Firestorm looks like, if this works.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, so be watching for that, and that's what's coming up there. And that's basically what I've been playing. I've done more Tetris 99. That's the only other thing I've really had a chance to play. Otherwise, it's been I've been playing Photo Editor, and I've been playing St. Jude Stream Team Leader, which those are fun
Stream
games
with your
too.
friends?
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel like because us three, like me, Dizza, and Michelle, we've done this before, so it's a lot easier for us. So we can actually help the newer people in our team.
Which
So I feel like last year, it must have been really bad for our old team lead, because everyone was like super new. We're like, what are we doing? And Tiltify has made their website a little bit better.
A little. Yeah, I'm secretly convinced that she had a bottle of whiskey somewhere near her desk to deal with it.
Oh, she was mad. She was mad. She messaged me. She was like, I cannot deal with this.
I believe it.
There was a lot of people, though. There was a lot of people in that team.
Oh, yeah.
But
so I actually have another game that I played. I totally forgot because I've been playing so much RimWorld.
Yeah.
I played the release of U-Boat. I did not stream this game because I launched it and it tanked my GTX 980 Ti. It maxed it.
Wow.
And I encode on my GPU, so.
What did you think of it? Because I've been watching another streamer who shall remain nameless, and he's both impressed and he's not impressed.
Yes. So my impression of the game previous to launch was that it was like a management, you are looking through a U-boat from the side and you just slide back and forth on the U-boat. That's not the case. You can actually walk through the U-boat as a person. You do manage the U-boat.
Okay.
But you actually can like look underwater. It's very much a Silent Hunter type game if you ever played Silent Hunter. The controls are a little wonky. I'm still kind of getting used to it. I do think that the game does have a lot of potential. However, the optimization is not there at all. There's no optimization on this game. And that makes sense because it is an early access game and it was just released. It is so, you have to have like a Titan for this game if you want to stream it and you encode on one computer. There's just no way. I don't know how people are streaming this game. Like they must have
dual
a pretty
PC
beast of a computer.
Dual PC?
Dual PC or like just a really good graphics card, because this thing tanks my GTX 980 Ti, and it's not the best graphics card out there, but it's a pretty good.
That's a 980 though. I mean, that's still a good card.
I wasn't even streaming it. I was just playing the game, and I like tried to mess with settings. None of that worked. Changing any of the settings does not work. Putting VSync on, none of it works. So it needs some optimization, heavy optimization. However, the one sandbox game that I got in, they told me to go to a port. I went to a port. They were like, go mess with people there and create a distraction to get the spy out, which was really cool. It's a beautiful game. The graphics are gorgeous. However, it runs suboptimally. And so I get there, I get to the port, and we're in like, I don't know, 80 meters of water or something, like not even that. And you're looking at ships in the port, and they're like, okay, this is a fast moving boat. And you look at it because there's like a little button that you can look at your target, and then it brings the camera to it, and you can like pivot around it. And it's like a twin engine boat beached. It's just sitting on the beach. And I was like, how is it on the beach? What? And then I found another one, and I went to that one, and it's on the beach. And I'm like, what? They're both beached, like maybe like a kilometer away from each other. And I was like, all right, well, I'll try to torpedo it. And I did, and it hit the sand. So this game is not there yet. It's not there.
It's got a couple things to work out.
Sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to keep an eye on it.
Fix it. Yes, keep an eye on it. Don't buy it now.
Okay. Fair enough. I think that covers all games played. So do we just want to go ahead and jump into our first topic of the night?
Sure.
First topic.
Do it.
Let's do it. So, recently, the Strong Museum has announced its class of 2019 Hall of Fame inductees for the Video Game Hall of Fame. This year's inductees include Mortal Kombat, Mario Kart, which is the reference to Dizzy earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is an odd one. Microsoft's Solitaire was on there, but it was because it's been included since Microsoft 3.0. So a lot of people have played Solitaire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Colossal Cave, which was a cassette game, were the inductees this year into the 2019 class of Video Game Hall of Fame. So I guess...
So... Yeah. First things first. Who actually knows about the Video Game Hall of Fame?
First I've heard of it.
I've known about it since its first year.
I think I might have heard of it like one other time.
Really?
No idea what. I didn't even know it was a thing, honestly. And
I just assumed it was Wikipedia.
Oh,
we were talking before we went live, and I was like, who cares almost? Like, what? I mean, I appreciate what they're doing, but I had never heard of them before. So I'm just kind of like, oh, all right. Congratulations, these games. Hall of Fame.
So it's just...
How old is this? 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's its fifth year, which, I mean, so it's been around for a little while, right? But some of the other games that they've inducted before include, like, the original Super Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda, Sonic the Hedgehog, Oregon Trail, Street Fighter 2, stuff like that, like the real classic games. So while Mortal Kombat and Mario Kart make sense, I guess, like, Solitaire? Really? Or Colossal? Like, I've never heard of Colossal Cave before.
Mahjong?
That is a good question.
That's a very good point.
That is a good question, which actually goes into one of the questions I was going to ask you guys. Like, what's a game that you think should be there? That was something I was going to get to, but I guess just kind of covering the idea of the games that were covered or inducted. Like, how does everyone feel about the games that were chosen to be recognized for the year?
I mean,
it doesn't really affect me in any way, shape, or form, so I don't really mind whatever. It's like, okay, whatever. I mean, Mario Kart, I understand, and I understand like all the other games that are inducted. However, my whole feeling towards this is okay.
Well, I think it's just the idea of like entertainment and art type.
Oh no, I'm totally for it. I just
whatever.
Yeah. I'm for it, for making people feel like they've accomplished something, but also it's not my thing.
Okay.
Personally, I am disgusted that Microsoft Solitaire is on the list and not Free Cell.
Wait, what is it? Slalom? Why isn't Slalom on there?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Chip. What about
Chip?
Ooh,
yeah.
Chip's Challenge.
Or what's the one with the cat and mouse and cheese?
Oh my gosh.
Bad Rats?
No, not Bad Rats. Oh my God. That's the Razzies version of it.
It's in my inventory because of Michelle, by the way. Can you refund gifts just like a year later?
Nope.
Just asking for a friend. Just curiosity.
Nope. It is permanent. It's permanently yours, Hippo.
I think I can actually delete it.
I've actually looked for that. I have not found a way to do it.
So what I'm a little bit surprised about is that StarCraft or Age of Empires or one of those hasn't made the list, or maybe a Warcraft RTS.
Mm-hmm.
Diablo.
Actually, yeah, Diablo as well. Really, there's no... Do I see a strategy game on here at all?
Looking at the I
don't see a strategy game.
Yeah, no.
I'm surprised there isn't StarCraft on here. I mean, if you think about strategy games, like the most iconic, the most immediately impacting to the world, have you...
Age of Empires and StarCraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an entire competitive league that started in a country. It's played probably more than most sports in that country.
Mm-hmm. No, you're
Wait.
absolutely right.
What video game has more impact than that?
Well, yeah, I mean,
John-
like Tetris was a big deal, right? But I'm sure that's already in there, right?
Which one?
It is.
Tetris.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was in
Yeah,
2015.
that
right
makes
when it
sense.
first came out.
That makes sense. Okay.
Because yeah, I mean, the only other game that's close to strategy, like John Madden Football.
Yes. Hi. I'm a simulation strategy type person who, or primarily streams strategy and simulation games, and as somebody who primarily mains those, it is a little sad that there's not really anything there.
See, but
And
Hippo.
what about The Sims?
Yeah, I was gonna say in 2016, The Sims were inducted, so there you go.
It's not okay. Look, The Sims is not really. It's not really. I mean,
The Sims is an
no.
important strategy game. You have to plan things out
actually is.
methodically. Yeah,
If
yeah.
you think about it,
Like
it
how to
actually
get
is.
the ladder out of the
Sims,
pool?
like the first 1 and 2, like Sims 1 and 2, really did influence a lot of video game culture and
Yeah.
decisions later on in other games. So it is actually it's a very important game.
Yeah, no.
But you wouldn't call it a strategy game.
Not really.
Uh,
It's a simulation and management game, yes. Is it a strategy game? Kind of, not really. Not really. Every game has some strategy to it. So if it inherently has strategy, I don't know if you can really, like, FPS games have strategy, right? So I wouldn't call Counter-Strike a strategy game, even though it's very strategic.
I don't know. Like me, I think they're getting there. I mean, it was just a couple years ago that they started inducting RPGs with Pokemon Red and Green, and then Final Fantasy VII last year. So, see, I as much as of a Final Fantasy VII fan I am, I honestly think 6 should have gone in first. But
Kind of agree.
I feel like I'm the only person here who has not played Final Fantasy since they were 15. Dude, I played it once. I beat it when I was 15 years old. And
I've
that was like
never played
18 years ago. Hi, that was like in 1886 I beat Final Fantasy VII, and I have never touched it again. I've not been a huge Final Fantasy fanatic or anything like that. I've touched like Final Fantasy 12 and then was like, this isn't for me, and never touched a Final Fantasy game again until the whatever it was that came out with, I can't even remember the name of it now.
14,
Yeah, that. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
the MMO.
I mean,
You could have, no, not the MMO. I did touch the
second
MMO
MMO.
for like it's the other one, the other Final Fantasy game. Oh wait,
There's 40 of them. Come on, you got to
I
be more
know.
specific than that.
it just came to PC. Hang on.
well, and then you have the
Isn't that
spin-offs.
14?
Like, what was it? Chocobo Mystery Dungeon 2 just recently came out.
Yeah.
So
Or 15, sorry. It's
Oh, 15. Yeah, you did play 15. I remember
Yeah,
watching
I
you play
streamed
that.
game for like a whole 2 streams because it melts my computer.
I distinctly remember you taking some fantastic screenshots in that.
Oh my god, that was I wish that I had more viewers at that time, because that was straight up meme worthy.
Oh my
It
god,
was so good.
I was dying from that. It was so good. So okay, so we have some thoughts about the games that have gone in and inducted and whatnot, but seriously, what are some games that we feel should go in? Now we've mentioned StarCraft, Age of Empire, Diablo, but what other games do you feel like should be considered and inducted for their impact on gaming and gaming culture?
RimWorld.
I mean, are we talking?
there's
are we
actually a
talking
good
classics?
argument. Yeah, there's a good
I
argument
would-
for that.
I mean, RimWorld takes the ideas of roguelikes and difficult strategy simulation management, RTS, all of that, and puts it into one. I don't know if it should go into the Hall of Fame just yet. I don't know how much it's actually influenced the rest of the industry. I feel its impact on the rest of the industry, because it is so niche, is very little.
Well, maybe the games before it, Rogue, Dwarf Fortress, I think,
Yes.
has a lot of influence.
Yeah, I would say Dwarf Fortress for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd agree with that. What about something like Dota or Dota 2?
You know what? You do make a good point, and as much as I dislike those games, I do believe that they have influenced
I'm not saying
Fortnite.
you have to like them.
Not
I'm,
Fortnite. Arma, the
Yeah,
mod is what started this whole battle royale thing. So I believe that it should be up there.
Sure. As far as Dota, like you could do the mods count though? Because I mean, Dota was a StarCraft mod.
I believe that they should at least reference them. If not the mod itself and the game that the mod came from that sparked the game, there should be some kind of like, hey, this game came from this mod. Give it some history. Give a little like homage, a little throwback to that game or mod creator or whatever. Because they are what made it.
Didn't Defense of the Ancients originally come from Warcraft? Like Warcraft 3?
I thought it was Warcraft 3.
Was it Warcraft 3? I honestly thought it was a StarCraft one, but...
Well, Defense of the Ancients would be something that is a Warcraft reference. The Ancients.
No,
realm.
the Ancient... Yeah, okay, good point. That's fair. What I think...
And then I remember it was very, very big in the custom maps in StarCraft. I used to play it a lot in StarCraft.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe that's just what I'm thinking of, is having played it in the StarCraft maps, but maybe...
I see Resident Evil 4 in chat, but I don't know, like, how much did Resident Evil really... I know, like, it definitely... Resident Evil, the series, definitely...
Yes.
Affected the way horror games happen. For sure.
Yeah.
I feel like while 4 was great in reinventing itself into the franchise, I don't know if that's the one that, like, the one that really was a firestorm to the horror game genre was 2, Resident Evil 2. I mean, that's the one that everyone tried to mimic afterwards. So that I saw Mist in chat earlier, which I thought was a really good one and a very good point. Mist is...
What about something like Risk?
But that's more of a board game.
Yeah.
This is distinctly a video game. Like, that's why before I mentioned like Microsoft Solitaire was kind of an odd choice.
I now that we're talking about it, before I was like, well, I mean, it's a computer game, I guess. But no, I agree with you. Now. Like that is a little, just because it was stuffed into Windows doesn't necessarily mean that it was a pinnacle of gaming culture.
Right.
I don't think it was either, but I think the statement from saying, hey, Solitaire was there, you played it every once in a while, and you spent maybe 10-20 minutes on it, and it was good. I think they're making this statement that that's the start of the casual gaming, the social gaming.
Okay,
fair enough.
I'll give you that argument.
I think that's also a legit argument.
Okay.
Argument for
Words
sure.
are hard.
Well,
we here at the Newbcast create many different words every stream. You're welcome, everyone.
So maybe
we're enhancing your language.
Exactly.
Maybe
we're creating our own words.
Because of games like Doom and Halo having made it into the Hall of Fame, what about like Quake or Unreal?
No, definitely Quake. Absolutely, I agree that those should be at least, at the very least, nominated, because they did influence FPS games, and we still see those influences.
Yeah,
We still see them in a lot of like. It's not so much arena shooters anymore. However, like that was what sparked a lot of it. You know, I agree with chat. Half-Life 1, to an extent. I mean, there's a good argument there, I think.
Yeah.
What about Portal?
See, I was just thinking that Portal would be a good one. Yeah.
Portal is
puzzle
good,
game.
but I don't really see any. What other games kind of sparked from Portal?
Portal 2.
Add a number after it. Yep, that'll do it.
Any other game franchise, please?
Well, I mean, it's a kind of a puzzle game, right? Like it kind of sparked some of the other puzzles. I guess if you want to talk about that, though, that kind of goes back to like Myst and that having been a puzzle game in and of itself too. So
yeah, other games that I've seen that have heavy puzzle influence. You know, you think of like Breath of the Wild or things like that. I think the one thing that Portal might have defined in a lot of puzzles is the sense of clear segmentation of those puzzles. Like with Myst, it's been, okay, you're going to go and explore this area. You're going to re-explore it. But is that enough to say this is iconic?
Good doesn't necessarily mean iconic.
That is true, and the opposite is true as well.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. So, since we're talking about good games that are really like they've really influenced the gaming industry, what are bad games that influenced the gaming industry? Like, what were we like? Oh god, this was so bad. Let's never do this again.
E.T.
Are you-
I mean, it crashed
feel
the
like-
industry. How much worse do you get than that?
What was that
I
old
agree
Super
with
Nintendo
you.
game that was impossible?
all of them?
Oh,
All of them?
Contra.
Oh God,
But Contra.
That was fun though.
Now here's an argument, because I think Contra has a certain like level of appreciation and respect to it because of that level of difficulty.
Yeah.
It might be like the precursor to all of the Dark Souls games. Like
Oh,
you can
God.
treat it that way.
Yeah, you.
And in that regard, then you put it in the Hall of Fame. But is it a good game? Or is it just a dastardly hard game that nobody could ever actually
Well, I
complete?
think you would have to define on what good is, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty difficult because it is subjective. I think we are speaking of iconic aliens, colonial marines.
Yes, thank you. Yep.
what about GoldenEye?
GoldenEye.
Oh, that should have been in there. Yeah.
No one mentioned that.
Wait, hold
Or
on.
Minecraft. What about Minecraft?
Minecraft, absolutely. Minecraft sparked so many different variations of crafting survival games that I definitely believe it should be in there, or
But-
at the very least nominated.
But
Minecraft was nominated twice, just for reference.
Okay, all right.
it's not even like Minecraft has its own whole piece to it. But what about the modding community?
Yeah.
That has become the golden standard for modding.
True. That is definitely a thing that they should look into, because as much as we do have these wonderful games that come out, Minecraft, RimWorld,
I
the
just
modding community definitely helps.
I just realized
Wow.
what's going back to the games that should be considered or looked at or whatever. What about X-Wing?
I never played it,
Like,
What about
so
Jedi
I have no
Outcast?
opinion.
or yeah, oh God, yeah,
No opinion
Outcast.
here.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
I feel like you're going on a slight subject
No,
topic change to another
no,
topic,
I'm not.
but
I'm not. It just
Okay,
it
okay.
occurred to me because
I have heard of them though.
so the first time I ever heard of the SciTech X52, let me go on my tangent here. The first time I ever heard about that was someone talking about having played it, Star Wars X-Wing, with their SciTech, and I happened to see Crafty's X52 like right there. So it kind of, oh yeah, what about that one? But that's why that particular game occurred to me. But games that don't, that like. We mentioned like E.T. but and Aliens, Colonial Marines. Would we call these like the Razzies version of video game award or recognition, or, and if so, what does go there? What kind of games belong in that type of recognition?
definitely Aliens, Colonial Marines belongs there. Somewhere in there, it needs to be there.
I mean,
if we're going classic games, Chex Quest.
Oh God. Well, see, if you want to do that, then you could also do the Dominoes one.
Oh my god, what was the game series that was like it had a Link in it, but it was not a Zelda game. It was like
the one on the was it the Philips game? Yeah.
The Philips CDR or something. Yeah.
that was a very good game.
It's funny because if you ask Nintendo, that does not exist. They have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm sure. I would also be like, I don't know what this is. Let's brush this under the rug. I have no idea what that is. What are you talking about? I've never heard of that.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never have heard of it.
Good. And you should keep it that way
Yes.
because it's terrible. It is Aliens, Colonial Marines bad.
When people thought that it was a fantastic idea to have a choose your own adventure story as a video game console, that was probably a bad side to begin with, and that was Philips. Like, that was their tech that made that console cool. Now, let's give Zelda to somebody who has no idea how to handle this. And choose your own adventure.
Also, what about Need for Speed?
Ooh.
Racing games. Like, what was the primo beginning racing game?
Gosh, like some of the
Gran Turismo.
Driver.
I'll take that one. But that was mainly
Driver.
a console game, wasn't it?
yeah.
I remember playing these games when I was like 11.
Let's see. Yeah, you said
Back in 1754, we played Driver on our Sony PlayStation. It was actually a train.
See, yeah, like racing games that I think of immediately come to mind are PlayStation era, which I mean, you could look at what Need for Speed, Gran Turismo, or Ridge Racer.
Yeah.
But okay, so we keep getting good ones. What about is there anything else that's like, oh my god, that was just abysmal as far as games are? Should we close the coffin on this one?
I mean, I can't think of anything else.
Other games that
But-
could go in as recognized. I mean, if we're talking racing, why not Excite Bike?
I mean, ooh, yeah.
What
that's-
is Zwift?
Kung
Is that a-
Fu.
Do you guys know what
Oh.
Zwift is?
No, I don't know that one. Kung Fu though is a good idea. Yeah.
Zwift is where you can take your bicycle and like put it on a stationary thing, and you like play a video game where you race other marathoners and stuff.
Of course.
It's pretty popular actually. It's pretty popular. People stream it too.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
It's streamed on Twitch. Just ZWIFT.
Okay. I had to look.
It's like dance. Not dance. Well, I guess it is kind of like Dance Revolution, but I was trying to think Just Dance. It's like a smaller segment, a smaller portion of Twitch viewers and stuff, but it's there.
Mhm.
It's
Dance
definitely
Dance.
there.
DDR needs to be on the list for iconic games.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It was the start of all Bimani, pretty much.
What about Beat Saber, though?
Yes, dude.
Beat
Beat Saber is amazing, and I cannot wait to see like the stuff that spins off of that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
guess technically, however, Beat Saber is a spin-off of Guitar Hero, in my opinion. But it's
you know,
VR.
I will give that to you, but at the same time, it's like Guitar Hero meets.
I definitely
DDR.
agree that I definitely think that it's its own thing for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure. When I think of VR games right now in 2019, the first two games that I think of are Beat Saber and Elite Dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, and maybe the Justin Roiland game. Like, that's pretty much what else is there.
Not a whole
Yeah.
lot. You can go play Elder Scrolls Skyrim for the umpteenth time, and
You know, the,
Yay.
although I
the
had
best
to,
part about that is the arrows.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll admit though, having watched a friend of ours, I think all of us know her, played Skyrim on VR, and watching her scream when that dragon landed next to her was
Yes.
so
Yes,
worth
that
it.
was so great.
Yeah. I think
That
the
was priceless.
challenge with like VR games at this point is we're so early in on it, it's hard to tell what actually is going to be iconic. We see a couple of things that are, I'd say, lead runners in that segment, but I don't think that there's a single game that's definitively sold people on, hey, virtual is a real thing that we need to consider and it's going to be super mainstream. Like, that hasn't quite happened yet. Also, I'm totally going to say Beat Saber is amazing, but it's derivative of so many different pieces.
Yeah.
How does it stand on its own?
That's what I was trying to say. Like, it goes back to Guitar Hero, because as amazing and I do agree that I think that there should be like a VR portion of it. VR games, like I think that Beat Saber is going to be like one of the pinnacle games that really influence future VR games. I still say that it is a derivative of Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
So let me
And
ask
I'm not.
this
That's
question.
not slander, by the way. I'm not like, this game is only comes back from this game. No, I like both of them. So
Wait, how'd that go?
no,
Okay,
just like that.
just checking.
Actually,
Yes, definitely not actually moment.
let me ask this question then. If you had the chance to, instead of having the Rock Band set up from, what was it, PS3 era?
Mhm.
If you had the option of having 4 people with their Rifts or Oculus or
Oculi?
Vives or whatever. Yeah, Oculi. I don't know. If you had the option of having 4 people with those headsets get together and actually like air drum and stuff
oh
like
my
that,
god, that would be so cool. That'd
would
be
you
so much
rather
fun.
would you rather see Beat Saber, or would you rather see like someone knocking on the drums, someone guitaring, whatever?
I want to see Beat Saber only because of like the accidental fist fights and MMA fights that happen.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest. All right,
And
guys.
can I have both? Can I have both?
Maybe.
Why not both?
Uh,
Pick your own mode.
I'm actually gonna take this moment to go ahead and say I think we beat this one into the ground. Haha, haha. But let's go ahead and take our break. Get up, move around, and stretch and whatnot. This is a great time if you're watching live to do that too. So get up, stretch, and move around. I'll have some music going, and when we get back, we'll get more Newbcast rolling right on the backside. See you guys in a few.
Wow.
You just did it. You
Yeah.
just did it right now. You miss Elijah. You miss the Unabridged Gamer.
Don't let him know. It's not like he's in chat or anything.
I figured it would be like a Game of Thrones theme music or something like that.
No. Right? I was thinking that we would just skip over that one, pretty much.
We'd be like, yeah, that's good. Next thing.
I got tea.
Yes.
I got tea. I don't know what he got.
I got tea. What kind of tea
okay.
you want? I got lots of tea.
No, I have an electric kettle.
Why would you microwave tea? What is wrong with you?
I have an electric kettle right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also copycatted Hippo.
Okay.
I
So
think it's really important as a streamer, if you're going to talk for 8+ hours a day, you should have something to wet the whistle.
okay. So you guys, you did kettle. You did not microwave.
No. I used to, but that's only because I only take 5-minute breaks.
Oh, I
which
see.
It's super unhealthy, by the way.
Yeah, no, you should probably take longer breaks. Okay, so just to confirm, they did use the kettle. They did not use a microwave to microwave. We do know this.
Is this relevant? Just out
Yes,
of curiosity.
yes, it is. Certain people know why, and we'll leave it at
Certain
yep. People, there's certain people in chat will understand this reference and understand why I'm asking. Now we know.
I mean, I'm here. I don't understand this reference.
Yes.
Should I just start calling you Captain Rogers at that point? I don't know.
So
Yes, yes, you could. I'm very old. I'm very old. You should definitely do that. I don't understand that reference.
I honestly think while microwaving tea is the lowest form, or microwaving water to get tea is the lowest form of tea making, the electric kettle is where it's at. For the longest time, I used a standard kettle, and I will tell you, I waited so long and I wasted so much energy for absolutely nothing.
I mean, it's ready within like 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops.
Gotcha. Also,
And
apparently,
it's right there.
apparently, even though I unmuted myself in OBS, OBS didn't notice it. So that coming back to the stream, no one actually heard it. Only you guys heard it, and it was just for you then. moving on.
It's like she planned it.
Yeah, right. That's exactly how it's supposed to go down, right? So no, do confirm you guys did not microwave. You used a kettle. There are people that would love to know that. Okay. So
I bought a kettle specifically for tea.
Okay. So, next thing that is up. A headline is making rounds. Is have you ever imagined what it's like to play Overwatch with a portal gun?
Oh
No,
wow.
I can't say that that came to mind, but that does sound amazing.
Yeah. So
I can't say as though I've played Overwatch in a couple of years.
I very little. But apparently Overwatch has opened up to letting fans use custom code and whatnot in the game, so that we have seen fans restore Mercy's original alt. We've seen things like the portal gun in Overwatch, or Apex looking Overwatch, or third person view. How do we feel about a first person game that has gone from being a casual first person shooter to being such a MLG type FPS, and then all of a sudden just go ham with mods?
I think it's very much a Blizzard thing to do. If you look at all their other games, they've done the exact same thing, and I think that it's really important that they do that because of look at all the things that has spun off of those. I think it's really important that they did that, and I think
we did discuss Dota, so
yeah,
that's fair.
I think it's great as long as you know, like, you know, in StarCraft you knew what you were getting yourself into before you joined the game. That's fine. I don't care. That's great. In fact, I am very much for it. I think it's really important because, in my opinion, Blizzard has to constrain themselves to a certain way of thinking. But modders don't. Modders are doing it for free. They're doing it on their own time, their own energy. They don't have some CEO being like, you have to do esports only crap. Modders can do whatever they want.
The other thing about modders is that they don't give a crap about what the game maker says. If they say that Mercy isn't supposed to have a big butt or something like that, who cares?
Whatever. Yeah.
They could restart Tracer.
I'm all for that. I mean, I'm all for butts too, so I mean, but what I'm saying is I'm for the mods. I'm for making something from okay, regardless of how you feel about Overwatch, it is a good game. Like, I don't play it, but I think that it's a good game, and it's well put together. And I think when you have a good game that's well put together with such a rabid fan base, I think that they will themselves will create another game, or it's how, in my opinion, this is how the evolution of the games industry has been progressing in the past like 8 years or so.
Sure.
Arma, H1Z1, Player Unknown Battlegrounds, PUBG. What a horrible name for a game, by the way. What were they thinking?
Yeah. Yep.
No.
I think it's really important, and I think it's good.
I don't disagree with it. I think it's kind of cool, some of the things that we've seen so far. What is maybe something? What would be a mod that if it was available for Overwatch would make you just go, I'll log in just long enough to see what this is all about?
I would like to play the portal gun version of that.
Okay.
You could do so many cool things, just like teleporting across the map and be like, surprise, I'm behind you now.
See, I'd be the person that would try to set up a portal to have it like eject you right off the side of the map and then just drop a portal below you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a Lucio main, so I like the boops. I used to boot people off the map all the time,
sure.
So I'm so down for that.
See, I mained Hanzo, and I missed the old Hanzo. And I know
Oh
I'll get
god,
a
a
lot of flack.
Hanzo
I don't know
main.
anything about Hanzo other than he's annoying.
Yeah, well, that was me.
I mean, so fitting.
It doesn't make any sense at all, does it, Hippo?
I was
Not at all.
I was
Wow.
either Diva or Farah, which Farah with her
I love
knockback
Farah, too.
missile, it was really nice too. I've gotten quite a few over the edge kills with her that I really appreciate.
I love Farah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just like the boop. I have not played since they added like 3 new heroes or whatever. It's been since Unity Day was like the last time I played, like of 2017.
That's about it for I've logged in twice to play with some friends for like a couple rounds, but nothing like long term for gameplay. And yeah, I'm in the same boat as you.
It's not even updated for me.
Yeah,
I think I uninstalled it, to be honest.
I believe it. It's a lot of storage.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And I still want to keep up with all the updates and stuff too.
Yeah, that's fair.
If StarCraft Arcade is any hint, make a tower defense game.
Ooh, there you go.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about games earlier that should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, we talked about a bunch of PC and console games. What about Clash of Clans? What about Bloons Tower Defense?
I have never played those, so they did not come to mind. Oh God. Okay.
Sorry, tangent. Woo.
I do agree though. Like, as much as I dislike those games because they don't really find them to be actual games because they play themselves, there might be a category on their own for that. Yeah, I personally don't find those types of games actual games because they play themselves.
See, but a good tower defense like on a PC would be fun to play, and be able to do that with something in
What
Overwatch
was
would
that
be fun.
game? It was a tower defense game. It was like pretty popular a few years ago.
Oh, I know what one you're talking about. It started
Dungeon
with an S.
Defenders, dude.
Oh yeah,
Dungeon Defenders, the first one, not the second one. The second one was a flop. The first one was amazing.
Yep.
It allowed you to mod the game. We played so many hours of that game. I think All Orcs Must Die also is like
Yep.
that too.
Yeah.
Orcs Must Die and Orcs Must Die 2. Those were actually pretty good games.
Yeah, they were.
What about Sanctum?
I don't think I've ever played Sanctum, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I have like 60 or 80 hours in Sanctum.
Blizzard Sanctum is exactly what I was thinking about with tower defense, because it has the FPS elements built in, but on top of it you are also building between rounds, and I loved it for that.
How does that work for like Overwatch mods?
Can I just say,
sorry,
since we're on this subject again and this tangent, Fortnite PvE.
What?
I love Fortnite PvE.
What?
What is Fortnite PvE?
Yeah. What is this that you speak of?
there's no such
that was so much fun. And then they were like, we totally won't get rid of PvE, and they didn't. They just don't acknowledge that it exists anymore.
I guess.
But that was a lot of fun in my opinion.
I suppose there's a little bit of a tower defense to that too, but
A little. It's all tower defense.
a little.
The whole thing, PvE is tower defense. You build up around a thing to defend it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
And you have multiple of them too. And you make little walkways so they kill themselves on traps along the way. I don't know how that isn't tower defense.
How Fortnite has evolved, though.
I think all games
Good and bad.
So
I would.
Did you say devolved? I'm just.
Maybe.
I don't know. Did I?
I don't know who heard anything. So other options.
Yeah, and yes, other options is mods and.
I would love a good defector game with characters from Overwatch.
Ooh, that like a Team Fortress mod.
I didn't realize there was a Team Fortress mod for that.
No, I don't know that there is. I'm just saying, like, you could have a spy mod or something like that.
That could be interesting.
I still want that game where it drops like a few friends in, or I guess you could play it. No, this has to be a multiplayer game. It's a horror game. It drops like 3 or 4 friends, maybe 5, up to 5 or whatever, and they see different things eventually, and one person looks one way and then they look back at their friends and their enemies. Just like little things like that to just messes with the players constantly. And it's only one person, or maybe it switches at some point. I want that. I want a game. I want a horror game that messes with you instead of just being like, let's shoot these zombies, which is as fun as it is. It's not really.
Not really a horror game. Yeah.
You should play Axiom Verge. Not a spoiler.
I think we need more jump scares with raging parties in the background.
What?
Oh, you don't remember the end of that game?
What game?
Your
Oh, that was okay. First of all, that's a spoiler, sir. And secondly,
I wasn't going to say the game name, and then you were like, I don't remember.
Now I remember what you're talking about, and that was just like the end of the early access version of the game. So it's not actually the end of the game. That's just the end of the early access game.
Gotcha. I didn't know.
I know. This is beautifully cryptic. And it
Very,
has to be now.
very.
I don't want to say it because I don't want to like actually spoiler people if they want to play this horror game, which by the way is a fantastic horror game.
Is it that one that you
It
played
is.
on stream? That
in October on my birthday.
the one that I did the clip of that you used for your highlight video for a while? Okay.
Yes,
Now I know what
yes.
you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
I don't want to like spoiler people in chat because it's really good.
It's a good
and
one. Yep.
It was a fantastic end to a wonderful game.
Yes.
The only thing I didn't like the mechanics of the inventory management, but
Sure.
other than that,
I thought it was really spooky though.
it was really good. I'll give you a hint, chat. It is a game that was a spin-off of the Silent Hills trailer game.
There we go.
I won't say anything else because I don't want to like spoiler.
So
Don't pay attention to what I said.
I'm guessing with Overwatch we don't have anything else to contribute to this particular topic, and
Not
it's
really.
closed then. Moving
Well,
on.
stop talking about it.
Moving on. What about the Halo Master Chief Collection being delayed?
I didn't know it was delayed.
It's delayed. By the way, in case you didn't know, the Halo Master Chief Collection is delayed, which I guess I have a little bit to say on that, only because that by delaying the game that needs more development, they are preventing themselves from having a huge disastrous game launch like they did with the original Master Chief launch a few years ago, because that's probably one of the worst ever.
I as somebody who has played Halo games, but they were not like quintessential games of my childhood. I don't have any nostalgia to them. I don't really care, but I'm sure that a lot of people do, and it sucks for them. But also, what are you gonna do, man? Like, they're gonna delay it. If they think they have to delay it, they're gonna delay it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Would you rather them put out a bad game or unfinished game? It's 2019. I feel like every game that's released at launch is an unfinished game. So
Yeah.
is it really that big of a deal that they push it back a few months and finish the game?
No, I think it's actually
And
really
yeah.
good to have it.
And if it is released unfinished, by all means, rip it to shreds. But
As
Yeah.
gamers, I think we deserve to have it both ways, and we should both be offended that they're taking extra time to make this good, and that games don't turn out good if they come out sooner.
I think that what the issue is in this instance of pushing back games is that they promise to deliver on a certain date and get hype up for that date and then be like, oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
I think that is a worthy criticism, but I don't think it's necessarily a meta bomb reason to, or it's not a reason to meta bomb them or whatever, which people do absolutely do. And I think I think Steam actually has taken preventative measures for this reason.
Yeah.
Because they understand that people just meta bomb a game because very stupid reasons, in fact.
Yeah. We talked
So-
about that a few episodes ago. Was it last episode or 2 episodes ago where we talked about how Steam made that change to the review system? So, where they yes.
I feel like there's a couple topics here. There's the review question, and then there's also the whole late versus early versus on time and what's really on time question. And it's maybe not as related to the Master Chief Collection, other than
it's definitely an overall
Yeah.
criticism of the game industry itself.
Yeah.
and I feel like it's a very real problem. How do you produce something that's quality and meaningful without setting a deadline, and how do you actually meet a deadline without sacrificing quality and meaningful content?
Yeah. No, that's the razor's edge balance that you've got to make, isn't it?
Right.
Well, that's why we have the issues in the industry of like extremely poor work environments for these developers.
Yeah. And
like they're working non-stop, no family time, no time to like, there's barely time to sleep, and some people are actually working around the clock and just don't sleep, and then they get laid off.
Yeah.
We're looking at you, what's something
Telltale.
Yeah, those people.
Yikes.
We're looking at you, Telltale, you CEO people.
Yeah. No, I guess my thought is like, well, darn, I've got to wait longer to make sure that a product that I want will actually work.
So
Shucks.
I feel like I'd be a lot more ready to put down some money for some of the AAA titles that have been coming out recently if they'd actually been giving people time to do them and do it right, and we don't have 50 DLCs.
No.
That and the not melting your computer because it's poorly optimized, or actually breaking your PlayStation, etc., etc. The list goes on and on and on.
Yep.
Well, QA is not existent anymore. That's what your alpha testers and your beta testers online are. They all volunteer to play the video game.
Well, they don't even volunteer. They pay
how
to
many
it.
people? How many?
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to pay to get into that, right? And then you're playing a subpar game with unoptimized anything, and then, it comes out and it's still broken because deadlines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it bugs me. It bugs me so much that is acceptable in the industry, and that's why I really think that's why indie games are starting to gain a huge foothold in the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this. We've seen this with many different indie games. When they come out, they're like polished and they run really well. And then you're paying $20, $30, and then you look at like, here's the $70 to like $100 game that runs terribly and has horrible optimization. It's not finished. The sound quality is just not there. Like those types of games are coming out all the time, and they're AAAs.
Oh, and by the way, they want you to buy, their $60 season pass, and here's some cosmetic items.
You want better sound quality? That's a DLC.
Yeah. But here's the thing I see something like RimWorld. How long has RimWorld been in beta? And they just released to full public, at the beginning of the year, end of last year, whatever it was?
RimWorld has its own criticisms, however.
There's a whole thing there, and it's far from perfect. Every game is far from perfect. But I'm just using it as an example of an indie game that is a solid package game that's developed by one person.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally hundreds of hours of content in that game.
Right.
And you're paying $30, which it will never go on sale, by the way. He said it will never go on sale, and I think that is a big criticism, in my opinion.
Why is that a criticism for a game that's decently put together, that he's actually putting time and effort into?
I see both sides. I see from the side of a consumer where they really love the game, but maybe they're a little too young. They don't have the money for it. Their parents refuse to pay that. Although, at that point, are they really going to be picking up a AAA title?
Right.
And here's the other scenario where I think in RimWorld it works really well. Hey, there's this announcement out there. We're never going to have a sale. Don't wait for one if you are interested in this game and feel like you have to in order to make sure that you're getting a better deal for it.
Like I said, I see both sides of the argument, and there definitely is good arguments on either side of it. So
Yeah. No, I agree with that. So, I guess that covers that particular one. Uh,
Mhm.
one of the last things we have a few more things here, but going into the next particular piece, I know that I was talking to Bolts a little bit about this before we went live, and Randy Pitchford and his outburst in Borderlands 3 and how we feel about Borderlands 3 and all that good stuff. Bolts, do you want to?
That's a big yikes.
Yeah. So, we all know Borderlands 3 is coming. We already talked about the store situation. We're not talking about that this time around. Recently, Randy Pitchford had made a pretty big outburst, which had a lot of people going saying foul, and he actually had to put out a statement. How do I feel about Borderlands 3 because of this most recent outburst and the entire situation?
I don't know what's happening. I've never heard of it. So this is the first I'm hearing of it, and I know that I'm sure there are some people in chat who are like, "Wait, what is happening?"
So
I don't know.
I watched the video just before the podcast, and first of all, the guy is off the rails.
What did he say? What happened?
Basically, he made a bunch of false accusations about a bunch of how do you say, assumed statements. Like he took the article from Game Informer, and he assumed that they were calling him a liar, or he had other people that were calling him a liar, and he assumed it was because of the article and a bunch of other things. And it spiraled out of control to the point where he was just literally throwing out names like I don't want to go back to the video at this point, but it was just foul mouth, like childish.
It was foul mouth. It was false accusations of who was involved with those accusations. It's like, as far as Game Informer is concerned too, like if all the different like gaming news organizations to go after Game Informer, really, like, just to put this out there, like their editor-in-chief and Andy McNamara only will hire you if you have a journalism degree. Like, it's not like you're just like a blogger that a site picked up because you write decently well. In order to write for Game Informer, you have to have a degree, which means you know something about journalism standards. So you picked them of all the news agency, all the gaming news agencies to pick to go on a tangent about. What the hell?
And the guy that reviewed the review, the link that you had sent, whatever, he actually went so far as to go to Kotaku, and they gave a more stringent, more negative connotation to what was said and the reactions and all of that than Game Informer. So I don't know why he's flying off the handle at Game Informer, but it was just it's all on Twitter.
Isn't he like known for kind of this kind of stuff though?
Randy Pitchford's kind of a dick. I mean, let's be fair.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna lie, I really don't know him, but his reputation precedes him in being a dick.
Well, and I've kind of formed a name for him that I won't share.
I
I'll
take
share
it
it
as a
later.
bad name.
It's not terrible.
Type it in the Discord.
Oh yeah.
But it's just
I'm sure I already know what it is, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay, never mind.
Oh well, yeah.
But yeah, his reputation of being that kind of a person that's very much knee-jerk reaction to stuff. Like I said, I don't really know him. I don't really even know what he does, but I know his name, and I know that it coincides with someone being kind of a dick or an asshole.
So here's my question, and moving this away from the whole Twitter blow up, what does that say about Gearbox as a studio if he's the CEO? Like,
Oh,
why
that's
not
where I
hire-
know him. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, that's where you know him from, because of the whole debacle
Okay.
with him and the lawyer and the lawsuits and the money. Was it
Right.
money laundering or was it embezzlement?
I don't know any of that stuff, but I do know him from Gearbox, and Gearbox, in my opinion, doesn't have the best reputation. So that makes a lot of sense.
But they have a reputation for putting out decent quality games, but at the same time,
Wait. The only games that I know they put out were Borderlands and then one other game that was not very good.
well, the Borderlands at least. My bad.
Hold on, wait.
Borderlands and Borderlands 2 is like their saving
Yeah, I know
grace.
that, but there was a game that they recently did, and it was like it was like a huge flop.
Battleborn.
No, it was like something else too. I don't mean to like derail this topic. I'm sorry, you guys.
Because they did,
But-
they acquired Duke Nukem. They were the catastrophe behind Aliens Colonial Marines, right?
Was it that?
Yeah, I mean, they did
It must
that
have been that.
to the point where
They were like,
Time Gates
Gates
Studios had to close because they were subcontracted from by Gearbox. Like, they're gone, and I actually liked a couple of their games.
I think it was the Aliens Colonial Marines that I was like, wait a minute, because
Yeah.
I remember this being a huge thing a few years ago when it came out, and they were like, oh, it wasn't us. We just we contracted this other game dev.
Yeah,
And it's like, okay, but you still put this game out. Like, it's still on you.
You're the ones who hired them.
Yeah,
Right.
like, this is all you guys. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, they may have messed up, but you hired them and you
Yeah.
still released the game that was bad.
which is crazy because the company they subcontracted out was Time Gate Studios. Time Gate Studios did games like Section 8 and Section 8 Prejudice. Those were fun. Those were good
Oh, that
games.
was a lot of fun.
Yes. So, the common link in all these problems is Gearbox, and people love Borderlands, but like, I'm the first one to tell you that I don't like Borderlands. Like, I was already like unenthused playing Borderlands. The fact that 3 came out, I was like, well, yay, some people will be excited, but given this blow up, it's like, well, now I have absolutely no reason to even consider looking at this game ever, and I can put my time somewhere else.
But I do have to say though, Michelle, as this is our job and we have our very strong opinions in these kinds of things, I feel that a lot of the consumer at large don't really feel the way we do.
I think at the end of the day, so many people see it as, well, is the end product good or is it bad? As long as it's good, I'm going to get in on that. Just like a number of other products. I mean, we can take a look at so many things that we pay for in our daily groceries that I'm sure have some negative influence or have some people in high executive level positions who are absolutely ruining it for the people that they work for. Or other such things. And we've got the visibility on it. The question then becomes, like, what action do you take? And what's a reasonable action to take, especially to hit somebody at the top and to make the clear message that, like, hey, as what you're doing as a CEO, I don't stand for what's going on. Like, what influence do we at the end level actually have on that?
That's
Buying a game and not buying a game on its own isn't going to make a big dent.
No, it's not, and that goes with the whole problem of like cancel culture and what boycott means. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, what impact does that really have now? Is it a problem?
That's
Yeah.
the problem. That's the problem, is that we either have a, like, I don't care, what is the word, where you just don't care, an apathetic feeling to whatever is happening, or you have the exact opposite to the full
Passionate.
maximum. To
Fanatic
the point where they're meta bombing
yeah.
and death threats and stuff.
So
There's a lot of in between, but it's the silent majority, I think is what they call it, right?
Yep. Bolts, you have a thought?
here's my question for you. Meta bombing is bad. I agree. It's not a Steam review for a game that is out there. Fine. That's perfectly acceptable. I agree.
Mhm.
How do you get some sort of communication across? Because if I at Gearbox and I'm like, hey, this piece of your game sucks, and I would do it with way more tact and everything else than that, but if I wanted to actually get that point across, hey, you should minorly change this thing so it doesn't like glitch here, and there's 500,000 other people that have that same opinion, how do you get that across? Because AAAs aren't going to listen.
Well, I mean,
It's true,
you could always meme it into the ground. It seems to work for other things.
But that doesn't
No, it doesn't do
give
anything.
criticism
No,
to, I feel like they only listen to like the big critics, and even then they don't really listen. They do their own thing. and then critics say something, and then they're like, well, I mean, there's like very, very small portions of developers and companies that actually listen to the community. And right or wrong, this is what happens. We do have this issue with Frontier and Elite Dangerous. They listened to the community so much so that that is why it's kind of annoying to get anywhere in that game far away. A lot of criticism, a lot of things that are like confusing and annoying about Elite is because the community wanted it that way. And I mean, you see it also with Blizzard, where they really messed up Diablo, and they were like, whoa, we're sorry, let me fix it. And then they did fix it. But there's not many developers or companies that are willing to take that and be like, we're sorry, let's fix it.
Yeah.
It's more of a, here is the product, enjoy, and if you don't, tough.
And there's a couple games that come to mind with that. I feel like H1Z1 did so much customization based on feedback, and they released so many updates. Yeah, some of them were good, some of them were bad, but ultimately the community just kind of poof, gone.
Well, I mean, what happened was that PUBG came out, and then
that's true.
I mean, that's what happens is these developers, they take so long to that it's a difficult balance of like taking what we want to make with the game, listening to our community who is playing the game and we are making the game for, and what we can actually do. Because of the CEO is like, hey, you got to do this, right? Yeah. And in that time, if there's a game that takes your idea, your concept, and innovates on it and makes it better, dude, look at H1Z1 and does not really have a community. It does have a community. There are some people playing it, but it's not like it used to be, you know? It's not like it used to be in 2015.
So what I'm hearing is, if you really want to make a statement to Gearbox, take their product that they have, make something better. Don't have a CEO who's made some of the statements that the CEO has had.
It's not really an argument, but I see what you're saying.
And doubt it.
That's like the well, if you don't like this video game, why don't you make another one? Why don't you make yours? Like, that's not really an argument.
Fine, I will. Guess what?
It's not really a thing that's not a real argument to criticism, like to fair criticism, but I understand. I definitely feel that I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But back to the other point though, how do you get something across like that? Because you only really have a couple options, and if you aren't active,
I agree that I don't know bolts. I don't know.
I don't think we have.
You could try to tweet them. You could write a nice email. Are they going to be read? Probably not.
No.
Or the question would be, are they going to be read by someone who would have any kind of authority or take any kind of action?
Yeah, that's probably a better question.
Yeah, it's an influence situation, and if you have enough people who are getting the message across, and that's the same with everything, right? So the meta bombing is all. It's not about the objective. It's about sending a message.
About sending a message.
So who's seen that movie?
What movie are you talking about?
The
I
Joker?
don't know what you're talking about.
The Joker movie? Okay.
Anyway,
I have. It's fine.
It was. It was a joke, Bolts. It's okay. I love you anyway, buddy. I love you anyway.
But where is the venue to send the message? How, like, at what level, category of importance will people pay attention to it? Clearly, Metacritic is enough to get attention, but the attention is in a completely different direction and is being resolved in a way that is actually reasonable and fair.
Well, and see,
it's very true.
It's a tough question. It's a really tough question. It really is. Like, how do you make that impact?
I'm personally against the Metacritic because CEOs and big corporations only look at that for the health of a game.
Well, health of a game,
it's money and that.
I mean, Bethesda didn't pay out a bonus because of Metacritic. I mean, that's where my biggest
That's
bone with them comes
unacceptable.
from, right? Like,
Yeah, that's totally unacceptable in my opinion.
yeah, like if you want to know, like, honestly, I've talked about it several times on this podcast, right? Like, about getting rid of the scoring system as a whole and the fact that it's a fucking mess. The reason I have that belief and the reason I think that way is because it was, God, which game was it? It was a Bethesda game, and the Metacritic score was a point below the necessary requirement to get a bonus payout, and because the Metacritic score was below that by 1 point, all these developers missed out on a huge bonus that they would have been otherwise paid. And that's because the science behind Metacritic is not exact, because scoring systems are different on different platforms, and Metacritic does not have that in account, and that's why I hate it so much. So if you ever hear me in future episodes talk about why we should just blow up the number system in the scoring system in a review, that's why I have my opinion.
I feel like Metacritic and that type of scoring system is, first of all, I understand why it exists, and I understand if you are a creator out there who does use this kind of a metric. I'm not like throwing shade at you, or if do take it that way. I'm not saying that this is you, but I am saying that I feel like it's an archaic way of reviewing a game. I feel like it's an archaic way where we have the English language, and as we all know, words are hard, but maybe use them and not numbers.
Three out of 7 bones for this game. Look, I'm just saying, like, I guess I would rather have the score system gone and let people read the article and determine what you think of a game. And that's
So, go ahead, Dizza.
No, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, as far as scores and game scores, I don't think I've ever once looked at a game score to decide whether or not I should buy a game.
Same.
no,
I've either
I always
gone on
read,
Twitch.
I always read the comments or Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, I either go on Twitch or I read the comments, like all of the comments from one page.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it's the comment section. I don't know. Yeah, I think
You have to throw some comments out. Look, it's like YouTube. You don't read the comments unless it's like an actual comment.
Yep.
If it's just like rabble noise, then you just don't read it. You can tell by the first or second sentence that it's just noise.
Yep.
It's like the Olympics. Like, you're gonna have that one judge that does a 4.7 on whatever it is that's going on. You know it's baloney. Throw it out.
Yeah.
Take what's in the key end, and also recognize that there are going to be some rabid fans out there who will tell you that this is, this crap is the best thing since sliced bread. And don't get me wrong, being a walking toast is fantastic, but it's not as good as sliced bread.
This is why you go to the 3 stars on Amazon and read the reviews, not the 5 or not the 1, the 3 stars.
See, I go to the 1.5 and I read both of them, and I'm like, who seems more passionate? I mean, let's take an example: the Haribo gummy bears.
Jesus.
But I'll just leave it at that.
Those are the comments that I totally endorse. No. I completely endorse those comments. Oh my god. Those are so good.
They are. But that's the kind of thing that's coming out with these games. It's like, do I believe side A or do I believe side B, or do I just make my own decision?
Yeah.
I think you should, in best case scenario, review it yourself. So,
well,
I mean, for this podcast, for example, I would say from Magikarp to Flipper, I would definitely call this Echo the Dolphin.
See, I was about to say
that's high praise, sir.
that, right? I was actually about to say that, or you find a reviewer whose content you like and relate to because of their taste or understand their taste compared to your own.
Or your interest is very much like theirs.
Yeah.
It is really difficult though for just a normal average consumer to make an informed decision on a game right now, because we do have the meta bombing, and then we do have the like propaganda crap that like advertising that the companies are putting out, like this game is and then they're like 5 out of 5 joeschmo.com, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, what is 5 out of 5 from this random site?
Yeah.
It's I see games, all right, as a content creator, I look for games that are not even out yet, right? I'll look for it in the future, and I see games that already have reviews that are not full or complete, and they still have like 8 out of 10 from Joe's Crab Shack, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
How did you even get a hold of this game? And also, how did you get 3 crab legs out of 5? Like, what? How?
Yeah.
Like, it's not even finished. How are you gonna put this on your game? How are you gonna put this in your reviews?
Very carefully.
I think right now it seems like the best option as an average consumer is to let the game come out, not pre-order it, not pick it up right as it launches, wait for the game to come out, wait a week, and then look at the review.
Are you suggesting
Because
that you
these
don't
other
pre-order
reviews-
a game?
I know that's, you know, I'm not gonna like name names, but saying you shouldn't pre-order stuff actually lost game podcast sponsors.
Yep.
We know who they are.
Yep.
We were looking
Oh
at you.
yeah, we
corporation.
see you. We see you.
We see you, unnamed corporation. But yeah, no, pre-ordering is as awesome as you can get, like as cool of the features that you might be able to get for pre-ordering games.
Yeah.
It may not be worth it. You know what? I am not even like 100% against pre-orders. If you're gonna buy the game anyway and you don't care, just do it. Whatever. But and I know Michelle is like very against that.
Thou shall not pre-order. Yeah, no, that's
But I'm like a little different. I'm like, if you're gonna buy the game anyway, whatever. If you are like super passionate about that game, you're gonna buy it anyway, and you're like, oh, I need those features or that silly ass red cloak or whatever. They're like, oh yeah, this is totally a $15 value for free if you pre-order. It's like, $15. I'm sorry, how did you get that?
Well, if it's Bethesda and the Fallout 76 digital store, I can totally see how that's a thing. But that's another topic. That's a whole other topic.
That's an ongoing just train wreck that just never stops.
Or never stops giving, depending on how you view it.
I'm not in on all of that because I have not played a Fallout game yet. So,
the previous Fallout games are pretty good.
Yeah.
This 76 is not the same.
Well, I understand that.
Maybe we need like a meta reviewer. If we had reviewers that we trust regularly to come out and be accurate and represent fully and give you a good sense of what they represent, what their interests are, then people can make a better...
It's just hard to find those people, right? Or you find them and they...
Yeah, but maybe we need someone to review them. Maybe we need to watch it.
Review the reviewer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't think of that. That's on you. That's a great idea.
I think that's
yes. This reviewer is
look
biased in this situation.
That's the comment section. Let's be honest. I mean,
it's so well. Is it though? Because YouTube comments are not the best.
Oh no, they're not. That's just it, right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
so here's my question to kind of, I guess my last point. Why would you? I get a company only wants you to see the good in their product.
Sure.
But why would you not also have a streamer or a content creator come in? Here's a copy of our product. Play it for X hours and tell us what you think.
That's how
that's exactly how the industry is set up right now.
That's exactly how it works.
But the problem is that these companies only work with like partners of whatever game company. So here's the thing, right? Like I said, I'm not partnered yet. We're on our way, but we're not partnered yet. And there are certain companies that refuse to even work with you if you're not a partner, which is ridiculous because if you think about it, when you have an up and coming channel, those people who are supporting that channel are rabid in their support. So maybe rabid isn't the right word, but you know what I mean. They are very much there. And I mean, like, I personally have sold games just by playing them.
Oh, sure.
And my community is like, dude, I want to play this with you, or oh my god, this is a great game, I want to pick it up.
Yep.
Even though I'm not a partner, I'm still making sales on these games. So it's like, why are you doing this? Like, you see these games that are just never going to be played by partners, never going to be picked up by a person with 1,000 plus concurrent.
I was just thinking some of the games that we all main, right? Like there are games that we all main that do that.
There are companies that do work with smaller creators,
Sure.
and they're like, we get it, and those are like, those people should 100% be supported and celebrated. The bigger, or maybe not bigger, but the short-sightedness of certain companies, maybe not, but that's a whole different tangent. I just, what I'm saying is, like, what you're talking about, Bolts, is roughly what's happening now. Like, it's sort of what happened.
Yep.
I mean, I get that that's what's happening on Twitch, but I've never
And YouTube
once
too.
and YouTube.
Yep.
I've never once seen an actual review for a game, like, aside from if you want to call it a playthrough. If you want to call it a playthrough, okay, then that could be considered a review. But I've never once seen a link for that on a game's sale page.
That's because they're not
Really?
smart. It depends on the sales page. Like, I know that even one of the creators that Hippo and I used to watch a lot, his stuff, which was YouTube first impressions, got a lot of references and like, so and so said this about the game. Like, it does happen. It just it's so easy to default to traditional medias.
A little bit of a shill here. I work with Green Man Gaming.
How dare you?
And and when you go to their site and you look at a game, it says, like, here's the game, here's the trailers, here's the information, and below that, here are the people who are live on Twitch streaming this game currently. And
but I mean, Steam does that too with their store page.
They do. Now they do.
On
But
their
that's
own
not- that's not a
streaming
review.
platform, but
you
that's
can
besides
go
mine.
to that stream and ask, how do you feel about it?
That's very true.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I like how we got all the way here from Randy Pitchford. Nice work. Nice work, everyone.
Well, when you're a dick, you often cause a lot of controversy, and controversy helps have a conversation. So, well done, Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, Dizza, stop looking so pissed off. Like, we didn't kick your puppy.
Dizza's just like sitting there quiet in the dark with his bald head. He's not like, it's not resting bitch face. It's resting, I'm gonna murder you. What, Agent 11 or whatever from
Agent 47.
Agent 47. That's, Dizza's got that agent look where he's just him. He's just chilling out. That's who he is. He just looks like Agent 47.
Oh my god. Nice.
Especially if it's a little dark. If it's a little dark, then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's the conversation about Randy. I'm inner turmoiling here.
Fair enough.
I'm trying to be very nice. You guys already know how I feel about him.
Right.
I mean, you saw my nickname.
Yep. Before we get on to our last topic, do any of you have any particular topics that you'd like to bring up?
St. Jude. We're doing St. Jude. It's on the. We talked about it before, but there are new people here. We're doing St. Jude. That at the very top of the channel, or on the screen. That is our team. All four of us are on that team. We are raising money for St. Jude. Please, if you even have $5 or $3, whatever,
There we go.
please go make a donation to St. Jude and make those kids' lives a little bit better.
So,
Thank you.
for
And it's not just the kids; it's the parents too.
yep, the entire
They
family.
get to stay with their kids.
Yep, which is a huge deal. I just dropped a link into the chat for people that are watching live, where you can click on that. That takes you to our team page, and you can choose which campaign you want to. It all goes to the same team, which all goes to the same place. But if there's a way for you to have a little bit of choice in who you're going to help push along to our goals to help St. Jude, which we all want to do, and there you go.
Is this our first commercial?
Well, kind of.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Kind of
I
is.
mean, what better commercial than for St. Jude?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
I don't
And
disagree with that.
however much you can offer, it makes it to people. I feel like I'm on NPR right now.
Are we
Yeah, right.
being-
Do we have a mug? Do we have a mug?
we do have a mug. I just don't own it right now. I haven't picked one up yet. I
definitely
was
need
actually informed that we have a mug as we went live. I was like,
I
well,
told
I guess
you
I'll
last time.
last time. Excuse me? Do you think I do I look like a man who remembers things? Come on
Clearly
now.
not.
Look at my mug. This is me. This is literally me in a mug.
Oh, that's who Peppermint's inspiration was. Got it. Okay.
You have to turn it around too if you're gonna shill it.
All right, fine. If I'm gonna shill for Peppermint Swirl, naked. All right.
Actually,
That's backwards too.
the
That's the best.
any topics was Bolt. That's your cue.
I don't remember what we were talking about. I remember we had this big discussion
just
that I
talking
totally
about?
forgot about it because we had such an awesome discussion about other
That
things.
was the so about that Sonic the Hedgehog trailer.
Oh yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. The trailer got some pretty good reception.
Yes.
Yeah. It's all over the internet. Everyone is paying attention.
hey, you're not
Am I the
wrong.
only one here that has not seen it? Did I not
Yeah,
watch
pretty
it?
much.
And I'm the only one.
Yeah,
I
you might
think
be.
yes.
You might be. Here's the thing I see from it is the movie itself might be somewhat interesting. What the hell did they do to Sonic? And Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman or Robotnik or whatever you want to call him. Like, I was a little unsure about that, but I saw some of like the clips and like, all right.
I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that.
I feel like
think-
I'm missing out here. I have not watched it.
I think that Jim Carrey, and I'm not for or against him, I think he was an amazing choice
Yeah.
for the character.
Yes.
He doesn't exactly fit the figure,
Yes.
but
Yeah, he's
holy
not a big
cow.
man.
No,
He's
holy
he's
cow.
a twig.
but he's got the right charisma for it, like to sell what the character's all
absolutely, I agree.
about. Yeah.
The whole scene in the trailer, like he does the robotic look to the side,
Yep.
that sells that character to me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'll have
Yeah.
to go watch the trailer after the show.
So we got
We've certainly seen stronger transitions of characters, like Bowser in the Mario Brothers movie. Like, I think if we can
That was rough.
handle that and enjoy the kitsch of the Mario Brothers movie nonetheless.
Can
The
you
Sonic
really
Man
you
use
has
the word
enjoyed that
enjoy?
though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, could you really
Okay.
use the word enjoy?
It's so bad it's good. It's so bad
Okay.
it's good.
See, that's what I expect from Detective Pikachu. Right? Like I expect that to be
Actually, I'm gonna go see Detective Pikachu.
Oh, so are we.
Just because of like how angry the internet has been about it, or maybe not so angry anymore, but more of like it's just a meme now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has Ryan Reynolds as the voice.
Yep.
Like the voice actor, I'm gonna go see it just because I love that man. I may have a man crush on him.
Understandably so.
I'm trying to find the picture that they had where they redesigned the Sonic in the movie. Here it is.
yeah.
I found it.
Yeah.
Please post it in the chat. Please.
Yeah.
Please,
Oh,
I wanna
yeah.
see this.
So
Yeah. Can we say that I think the best thing that could have possibly happened to Detective Pikachu is Sonic?
oh my gosh. Well, see the thing, you know the
Yeah,
funny
pretty
thing
much.
is the most disturbing
I meant,
thing
like,
about
I'll get it there.
the most disturbing thing about Detective Pikachu is his eyes. Otherwise, the character is pretty accurate.
What did they do? Is this real? Is this real life?
Yeah.
Is that
Is this
actually
just
what they did?
fantasy?
You should just. Yeah.
That's
Is
what
that
Everybody
really
needs to see
real?
this.
So the
Yeah.
one on the left is what was in the trailer, and the one on the right is kind of like a fan. And we talked about modding earlier, so this
Yep.
is kind of a cool thing that comes from modding, is that you get this transition from the one on the left, which is like, what were you thinking? That doesn't even look like him, to the one on the right, which is like, I'm gonna go see this movie because it looks pretty legit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And there's this whole just internet blow up over this, and they haven't even shown off Tails, who I think is supposed to be in the movie.
I thought I heard about that. So I guess one of
You
the
know the like poorly taxidermized fox who's like just sitting there with his hands on his lap?
yes.
I've seen people say like that's Tails, which
Oh my God.
I thought was hilarious, but I had never seen this picture until just now.
Yep.
You guys are what?
Now that
Hippo
said,
reacts too.
the thing is that the outcry on the internet, this is why I had mentioned you just meme it into the ground, is because it got memed so hard that director's like, all right, we hear you, we're gonna go back and change it. Like, that is actually what he said, which
They need to. What were they thinking? What even is that?
I only hope that the animators get compensated properly for having to go back to work. I only hope that. Otherwise,
And they won't.
I feel like I could have made that. I feel like they just got some dude off the street and were like, hey, you want to animate this Sonic character? And they're like, oh, dude, I did like Photoshop once. We can totally do it. Let's do it.
I mean, so I guess the other thing is, like, why is it the video game movies are just so bad always? Like, even this. Like,
Licensed movies and games are usually absolutely atrocious.
yeah.
But it's again, it's going back to the image thing too, and what the game creators and owners will let you do or won't let you do.
Yeah.
I mean, that should not have been a thing.
That should
They
have never been
not have
greenlighted.
let them
No.
do that.
Sega should have looked at that and go, what is this? No, go back and do it
You
again.
have to realize that people, that CEOs invested millions of dollars into this, and they saw that and they're like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But I think maybe
How?
at first glance it looks really good. And
At
then,
first glance, I almost threw up. What are you talking about?
yeah, but if you're not paying attention to it, you just load it up. You're like, oh my God, it's a new Sonic movie.
Oh, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that Sonic. That Sonic is, I mean, it's blue and he's doing things. It's cool.
But
Well,
a lot
works
of the
for-
At
imagery.
the speed
gave him
of
teeth,
sound.
like
Sonic
individual
the
teeth, right?
Hedgehog.
So
Yeah.
as an ex artist, I don't art anymore. But the thing that when you deal with mouths and teeth is the thicker the lines between the teeth, the more terrifying it becomes. And as I'm looking at this picture, they gave him just like straight up real people teeth. And that's why the one on the right of the picture looks fine, is because he doesn't have those individual teeth. So when you look at, and it's uncanny valley too, like that's what we're looking at here. And
Yep.
it's what the hell?
You know, I will agree with you on the teeth. I think that makes a lot of sense, but I think the proportions of the eyes also make a huge
The
difference.
torso, yes, that too,
And the torso.
Hippo, I think you just nailed it. You mentioned Uncanny Valley. Yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. That makes
this
so
is
much
what
sense.
We knew this was going to be a problem with Detective Pikachu. We knew that it was going to have an Uncanny Valley feel, right? And so now
Did we?
Sonic comes out with whatever that is.
Did we though? I felt like Pikachu's like proportions weren't that much different than the animated version of him. Like the only thing that really changes is the eyes.
Detective Pikachu is not nearly as bad. Detective Pikachu is very much its character. That is not Sonic. That is not the character that we've fallen in love with and have been celebrating for 30 plus years. That is, well,
Something.
it is a thing. That I'll just put it at that. There are many other words that came to mind, but I will just say it is a thing. That is a thing that's
Accurate.
happened. It is a thing that has happened.
There. Okay. Done.
But yeah, I mean, when you're talking about something like that, you're talking about Sonic of Nightmare of Memories, and then you're
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you're talking about Pikachu that actually looks like Pikachu. It doesn't look like Mimic.
They didn't
or
change the
Ditto.
character so much,
Yeah.
right? With
Right.
Detective Pikachu, they basically were like, yeah, this is Pikachu. This is the character that we all know and love.
Yep.
But this is like a werewolf, like that old school werewolf movie, you know? Where what's his name? Michael whatever becomes a werewolf.
Michael J. Fox.
Plays basketball. Yeah, Michael J.
Teen
Fox,
Wolf,
where he
yeah.
plays basketball. Teen Wolf. So when he's like transitioning into a wolf, this is what it is. This is what it reminds me of. and it's like you can tell it's not real, and it's like it's so jarring that it throws your brain off because first of all, I mean, I don't even know how they would do Sonic's eyes without. I don't even know.
Try to say to the left side of the Uncanny Valley, probably. I mean, let's be honest.
They didn't do that.
No,
they didn't do that.
No, they didn't.
Here's the other question, though. How many times have you seen Sonic outside of like the 2D scroller realm?
A ton.
Yeah.
In cartoon.
Yeah.
A ton of cartoons.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
fair.
he's always got the a single eye, right?
Yeah.
His eyes
That
are
is
just
true.
a single thing,
Mhm.
and that
Pretty
and
much.
the teeth. It's
What-
it's the eyes, the teeth, and the proportions of the chest. I'm just like, this is like my self-taught artist talking, and it's like, what were they thinking?
Okay, then let me rephrase that question. How many times have you seen him outside of that realm or in cartoons in the last 7 years?
Sonic Generations was 3D.
Okay, fair.
But it's still like, even 3D games are very much it's very much a cartoony feel. Sonic was
But-
always meant to be a cartoon,
Well,
not
yeah.
in the real world.
Okay, I get that. But now look at Pikachu.
Mhm.
Sonic is a hedgehog. That's what he was supposed to be, right?
They're
A blue
very
hedgehog.
Well,
similar
he's like
critters.
an echidna, no?
No, that's Knuckles.
Whatever. Oh,
Well,
okay.
I'm just saying that Pikachu, people have had a lot of practice
Let me look.
bringing it to real life and doing stuff like that with it. So you've had
Yeah.
plushies and stuff like that of Pikachu that are probably a little bit more prevalent than Sonic. And I'm not saying anything bad about Sonic. I'm just saying there's probably a lot more Pikachu plushies out there.
Yeah, I think.
what I'm looking at it right now, and they really didn't change the character model at all. They just gave him fur, which, I mean, if we all think about it, Pikachu is furry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I mean, that's the only, they did not change the character model really at all. They
Right.
made his ears a little smaller. That's about it.
So it's
Mhm.
funny you mentioned that because we were at Barnes and Noble earlier today, and we actually found a Pikachu plushie and like a Detective Pikachu plushie, and the Detective Pikachu plushie was just fluffier. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
So they changed Sonic's character. They completely changed him, and rightfully so, because I don't, like I said, I don't know how they would do the eye thing. But the torso is not the same proportions. Just looking at it artistically, like the eyes are weird. The face structure is more like human-like. The ears are weirder. I don't know I don't know what they were thinking.
I think they were trying to make him human-like to relate. And I think it was an epic failure.
They went Uncanny Valley. That's where they went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right down the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean, Pikachu in dialogue might end up having that challenge, right? Where we're so used to Pokemon being, playful creatures that don't have these giant, heavy plot lines like Sonic has. And suddenly we have this big plot line. Maybe we'll get uncomfortable with it. And that is a different level of the Uncanny Valley, maybe, but visually everything is in line. And I don't think Ryan Reynolds can really mess that up. I mean, he's not going to risk that after Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Peekapool, I love this so much already. I literally just found this out right now because of Eternal Warrior. Peekapool, Deadpool, Pikachu is a
Pikachu.
thing.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it so much. That is
So-
my favorite thing. What the hell happened to Sonic, you guys? What did they do to Sonic?
So
They butchered him.
Yeah.
So they made a decision that the height was too small for a very serious plot line, which is really kind of disappointing, I think, if that's the reason behind it. And that's the closest thing I can think of to any like actual decision.
Yeah.
yeah, but the height doesn't really even change the proportions so much as it just feels like they tried to humanize or to right size like the legs and stuff. Like there's
Yeah,
no
they
way
gave-
he
they
could
gave
run that
him-
fast.
They gave him more of a human-like torso, and Sonic has never had a human-like torso. He's always had like a little bean as a torso because
Yep.
he's always been drawn or animated that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
They gave him real eyes. They gave him human eyes. They gave him anime eyes. Have you ever seen
Yep.
that doll that somebody created of like an anime character with like the giant eyes, and it's like a real life doll, but looks like an anime, and it looks just insanely terrifying. That is, I feel like, what they did with Sonic.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll see how Detective Pikachu does starting next week. I have a feeling a couple of us will be able to talk about it in a couple weeks. And
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what they do.
And then we'll just wait later this year for Sonic.
I'm kind of excited to go and see Detective Pikachu, but I don't know if I'm
excited to see that.
Yeah.
DVD.
I don't
Crafty and
know
I
if
are
I'm gonna
too.
go see. I'm going to the theater to see Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, so are we.
I don't think I'm gonna go to the theater to see Sonic.
Nope.
I don't see myself.
They'd have to
doing
do
that.
a huge overhaul to him.
Mhm.
Also, I'm not going to say anything more than this, but and no spoilers. I will not say a spoiler. I saw Captain Marvel in Endgame today, and I absolutely loved them both.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you've not
I
seen
didn't
Endgame
even
yet, go.
realize you could watch them both, one right after the other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
5-hour marathon. That's what I did.
Whew.
And then he showed up to the podcast for
Yeah.
another
That's
small,
dedication.
shorter marathon.
And then I got the message. I'm like, oh crap! I better get home.
I got the message 20 minutes before we went live. I was like, "Oh, hey, we're doing the podcast thing today, huh? Oh crap!"
I mean, look, to be fair, Bolts, when you replied back, Crafty and I were still at Mall of America, so I mean, details.
Wow.
Wow.
So before we wrap this thing up, I think
Professionalism.
yeah, right. I'd be a bit remiss if we didn't cover just one more thing. I know that we're a gaming podcast, but given the weekend, it was May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th. It is Star Wars weekend. There was a lot of things going on. First off, of course, earlier this week we saw the passing of Peter Mayhew, which was sad. A lot of people said a lot of kind things about him. The convention that he was supposed to make an appearance at this weekend, his booth was replaced with a memorial that people were able to sign and make donations to his nonprofit, which was really nice. And there's supposed to be a huge celebration for him in December for fans in LA. So that's a thing. Of course, there's Star Wars marathons going on different channels right now. I love the fact that when all of us were younger, like if we were nerds and loved Star Wars, we'd not talk about it so out, and people like, you're a nerd. The fact that we have this like unofficial holiday where it's everything's Star Wars now on May 4th and 5th. I think that's really, really cool. I don't know about you guys. I think it is. And not just that, but so if you like Star Wars games, right now, if you go to like GOG or Steam or wherever, you can probably get a sale on get a really good deal on them because the games are on sale.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you don't own a Star Wars game that you really want, go now.
I know Humble is doing a sale too.
Yep. And then you can see small little Easter eggs. I know that the Battlefront splash right now has got a Chewie on the front splash right now. But the one thing I do want to know, and we'll just make this go around and ask, what's your favorite Star Wars game? There have been a lot of Star Wars games. What's your favorite? We'll start with Dizzy G. Sir, what's your favorite Star Wars game? Star Trek.
Star Trek game?
Star Trek game?
What?
Star Wars game, excuse me.
Wow. Can we get a ban on Miss Michelle Jean, please?
Yeah.
I feel like she did that on purpose, and even if she didn't, ban her anyway. Thank you for banning yourself. Appreciate that.
Definitely.
Words are hard.
Uh-huh.
The timing of when it came out, Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Interesting choice. The Old Republic. SWTOR.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was right in that period of time where I was starting to get sick of World of Warcraft and looking at different options. And it was a nice opportunity to get into lore in a way that I've never thought of.
Okay.
And I felt like the level of immersion and the level of exploration that you could do in the game was absolutely phenomenal. Were there way too many fetch quests? Yes, of course. Every MMO is going to have that. But being able to do that, the PvP definitely was so much fun, especially at launch.
Yeah.
I really just enjoyed being able to go in at any given moment and, hey, we'll go into this arena and knock out some Jedi, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
I felt evil. I felt more evil than I probably ever have in my life and possibly ever will.
Yeah.
Okay. Hippo.
I agree with Dizza. That game, even though it had a disastrous beginning and an ongoing disaster of business practice, the game itself, content of the game, was actually pretty good. The storyline, playing with your friends through the storyline, you were able to go and see their choices. I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna agree with that. Or what is it, Galaxies, the other MMO before?
Damn it, you stole mine.
That one I never played the original, like the actual game. I played an emulated server.
Oh, sure.
And I played that with a girl that I was dating, and we had so much fun. It was so good. And it was like the pre-combat whatever patch.
Oh, nice.
I don't know, apparently that the patch had ruined the game.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun, and there was so much to do in it. And even though it was an emulated server and a lot of stuff didn't really work properly or at all, it was still so much fun to play.
Okay. Bolts?
I'm gonna split mine up.
Okay.
X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, which
Ooh.
is like, I mean, how can you not like that one at least? So that would be my like flight sim favorite from that era.
Okay.
And honestly, before Elite Dangerous, it was one of the only like space flight kind of type games that I really enjoyed a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did like the MMO that this is talking about, but I have to go with the favorite of being JKO 2 or Jedi Knight Outcast 2.
Okay. Jedi Outcast.
I had many a weekend that I spent playing that game.
Yeah.
I didn't even play the KOTOR until 2011 or 12, something like that. Maybe a little bit later than that, actually. Maybe like 2013.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun too. Like, that's definitely an honorable mention. Like, the graphics and stuff were a little dated, but the game itself, the story that it told, was pretty fun.
Sure.
I mean, Pod Racer was obviously that's not the original.
No, but it was still fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. See, for myself, I have a few that I liked. I liked Empire Strikes Back on NES. I have a lot of fond memories of that. So there's that. I see, the funny thing is I'll say Battlefront and Battlefront 2, but I'm not talking about the EA abomination that is Battlefront and Battlefront 2. I'm talking about the original Battlefront, the legacy Battlefront and Battlefront 2. I had a lot of fun with those. But the most amount of hours and the thing I probably sink more time into Star Wars related besides the MMOs was Empire at War. Though I wasn't a big fan of the ground combat, I loved the space combat that was in that real-time strategy, and it was all about that. I enjoyed that quite a bit. That was my favorite. And with that, I think that does it for us. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Before we go, we're going to go ahead and do round robin, see what everyone's up to, and then if you're here live, we'll go raid another channel after we're done. So this is your chance, guys. Show your channel. We'll start with our guest, Flyinbolt. Bolts, what do you got coming up on your channel? Where can we find you, etc., etc.?
You can find me on Twitch. Flyinbolts is the handle, or
No
Twitter.
G.
Yeah, no G on there. Thanks, Hippo. Or Twitter, it's Flyinbolt, no G there either, with a T at the end, because it's supposed to be TV, but I'm one character over that. And
Nice.
what we've got coming up, I want to dive into Prison Architect a little bit after the month of Eco. I also want to revisit a couple games such as Ark and a few others that I haven't quite decided on yet. But I think what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pick a game of the month, and I want to do that for maybe a couple nights of the week, and then I want to continue my Elite Dangerous treks and fun for 2 more nights of the week and have a community night, which we've been doing in the forest, but we'll see where that takes us.
Okay.
But yeah, everything's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of great support coming this way, and I have been having a blast playing video games. So
Awesome. Cool. And yeah, guys, link to follow is in the chat. Please consider just dropping a follow. Follows are free and they are most appreciated, and that's true of everyone here, including me. I'll show myself as well. Hippo. Hippo. What?
Hi, Pooh.
Thank you. Thank you for remembering how to pronounce it.
What do you got coming up? Where can we find you?
Hipponymous on everything. If it's too difficult for you to spell or remember, it's hippo.wtf is my website. You will find all of the information there. This week we are going to be playing more RimWorld Sims 4. We were originally going to we're going to do a 12-hour for St. Jude since we met one of our goals. However, I'm going to be going to a wedding that I did not sign up for.
Oh.
So I'm kind of being forced to go to a wedding. So I'll be out of town at the end of the week. So
you're being forced to get married?
I'm not getting married. I'm just being forced to go.
Okay.
I don't have a choice, unfortunately. However, so this week is going to be RimWorld and The Sims, possibly another game or two, but probably primarily those 2 games. However, next, not this upcoming week, but next week on the 15th, what is it called? What is that game? It's the Trans-Siberian game, I think, is coming out. It's a train simulator game. I think it's supposed to be coming out.
Yeah, I know. Oh God, what one is that? I know what you're talking
Can't
about.
remember what it's called. It's basically it's a Soviet train simulator.
Yeah. Which seems silly, but it does look like a lot of fun. So I hear you.
I might have my dates mixed up actually. But yeah, there's gonna be some good games coming out, and we will be playing it. There's Plague Tale: Innocence. That looks like a very interesting game coming out next week too, which is basically follows along story of people dealing with the plague in medieval times. So
seems like something you have an interest in pretty regularly. I'm not sure how to. Interesting.
Wow.
All right. Right on. Well, good luck with that. Dizzy G, what's going on? What's up? Where can we find you?
You
and what
can
you got
find
coming
me.
up?
You can find me on the internet.
Good
I am
place.
Dizzy pretty much everywhere on it. While we fight with Origin and hopefully eventually get access to the games that we have rightfully purchased, hopefully, I don't have a specific plan for our Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are normally RPG nights. We'll probably find something to substitute in there that'll be fun and hopefully a little bit shorter to fit in the time frame for St. Jude. During other nights, and for sure Wednesday this week, still trying to plan out how it's going to go out for next week. We do a whole bunch of other random stuff, which tends to be like roguelikes and things like that. We've got some Darkest Dungeon that is just begging for some play, so we'll have a blast doing that.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
I have yet to even get to the Darkest Dungeon, and I've started and stopped that game so many times. That is also the way that I started Persona 5. So, fair warning, we might play a lot of Darkest Dungeon for a long time.
Interesting.
It's a good. I know people who got partnered just playing that game and only that game. So there's some potential there, my dude. You should definitely check it out. Play it on stream. You get a bunch of Maxi helpers.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are very helpful in that category, and they will definitely help you play that game. I strongly suggest checking it out
Okay.
on stream.
There you go.
I think it's a good game to play on stream because you're gonna have issues not understanding what to do, and chat will help you.
Good. I look forward to making absolutely awful decisions and watching everyone mock.
Nice.
Michelle, what are you doing?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, besides Elite Dangerous, we're going to have a couple Zen nights where we go out and do some deep core mining because nothing is more satisfying than watching rocks go boom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Beyond Elite, though, we're going to switch it up a little bit. There's I got a key for Tech Wars Global Conflict, which is another mech game, which I kind of want to check out. So we'll do that coming up on the channel. Elite, we might do another Mech Warrior Online stream if people are interested and other people want to join in. That was a lot of fun on Friday. I had a great time with that. And that's about it. Of course, we got giveaways. My St. Jude campaign will be continuing to work on throughout the next few weeks, as is the rest of the group here. Everyone, and we're all members of the Noob crew, which is kind of
I just last night updated my campaign with way more milestones, giveaways, challenges. You guys know how much I hate cilantro? Well, if we raise $500 in 2 weeks,
cilantro,
which we've done like 700, yes. If we've done $790 in the past week, so if we raise another 500, I will play Dream Daddy and eat cilantro while doing it.
I want to watch this.
I absolutely. If you guys don't know me, I'm Hippononymous. I hate cilantro. The word cilantro is banned in my channel. If you say it, you will be purged. That's how much I hate cilantro.
I feel like
I
I feel like they need a coriander gum.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God.
I don't have anything like that except for the beans. But I do have a
beans too.
I have the space shuttle Lego set that I'm giving away once we get to a certain point.
I have that actually. I do have it's on my bookshelf over there.
Nice. So we're giving that away. There's a marathon on the line as far as how long I go. It's all depending on how far we get along. And yeah, so Tech Wars, Global Conflict, Mech Warrior Online, and of course Elite Dangerous, because we got to go out and do stuff and the ship and stuff.
Gotta do the things.
Gotta do the things. So that being said, everyone, for Flyinbolts, Hippononymous, and Disney, my name's been Miss Michelle Jean. This has been the Newbcast podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and have yourself a great night.
Have a good
weekend or a week. I guess it's the end of the week.
It's the week.
Words are hard. Words are hard. Guys.